I will not get a fair trial in the United States.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, January 26, 2014. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 586.
This is No Agenda.
Preparing for another Illuminati sacrifice from FEMA Region 6 in the Travis Heights hideout in Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it appears that rain is on the horizon but may never arrive, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Well, now we're right there where I want to have you.
Raining?
No, I was thinking we need to do a little rain stick for California. We know we have the power.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my God, how stupid are we? I'm going to do another rain stick for California. There you go. Oh, you got your stick? Yeah, good. By the power of our rain stick.
Possible.
Well, you know, it's like
what else is working? I forgot all all about the rain stick.
I know. I was watching the news.
Could have solved the drought problem right here on the show.
We could have done it weeks ago.
Yeah.
How stupid are we?
Well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, Jean-Claude.
I'm going to get a couple of things. I want something out of the way first.
All right.
We had because this keeps cropping up because these, like I said before, these law students keep writing us, telling us Fed laws trump state law. And
okay. All right. Hold on. There's a lot of people who live in different countries who listen to the show, and you need to just give a little context to the Fed law.
We have this issue. The United States is a republic that is essentially a group of states. It's very similar, not as extreme, but similar to the canton system in Switzerland, which has all these cantons which get to pretty much call all the shots, and the federal part of the equation is less important. The cantons are more important. Anyway, and that's kind of the way we're set up. And so, but over the years, there's been this movement amongst mostly liberals for some reason because of the incompetencies of some states regarding certain things like environmental laws, for example, and some of these other things, the local corruption and things like that do occur, and feds need to come in and straighten it out, and everyone thinks the feds are the big heroes. And so there's been this kind of a movement to make the U.S. a democracy and national government. I think getting rid of the Electoral College is part of that, which is, is get the direct democracy, which is the worst thing in the world to try to run because then it becomes mob rule. Yeah. Whatever the case is, the locals always saying, well, Fed law trumps state. That's been kind of the meme. And everybody in law school or the new lawyers coming out of law school, they keep writing us because we say this is bullcrap because of the 10th Amendment and nullification and some of these other things that have been going on for years. This has been going on for decades. So every once in a while, someone who has a clue writes us, and I want to read this note.
Ah, okay. This is from John's email.
That was a long-winded
preface. No, it's important because it's one of those annoyances that crops up between in the 4 days between our shows.
And there's a bunch of listeners, and they're all law students, and they all say the same thing. And so here we have. Now, I don't know if I should mention what state he's from, but I'll mention his name's Jay Shea, and and I'll read the note. I was listening to episode 585. Your discussion on federal laws was interesting to me. I am a state prosecutor. I've been practicing law for a decade. You're absolutely right that law schools are teaching their grads incorrectly that federal law trumps state law.
Huh.
What should be taught is the supremacy clause of the federal Constitution, which states that federal law in conflict with state law trumps state law only if it is a law concerning an issue left specifically to the Congress to regulate by the Constitution itself. The problem is that the U.S. Supreme Court has slowly been expanding the definition of what Congress can legally regulate through the Commerce Clause, etc. And it's been going on for 150 years. He recommends people read the Wikipedia article that explains the concept in detail, which is Wikipedia wiki / and what you look at is supremacy underlying clause, one word. Anyway, great show. Looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that note too, obviously, and was happy to hear from a veteran that we're on the right path.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you You even start to question yourself.
I don't.
Do I have this all wrong?
I read Wood's book,
Yeah,
Nullification.
I read it too. Of
and
course.
it's like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very convincing work. And then these guys, oh, you should do this. Oh, the federal, blah, blah, blah. You go on. And it's all right out of some professors, some nonsense they're trying to promote, which is the destruction of the United States.
Yeah, that's it. It's the communist plot to destroy the United States. They've come in. It's the dimitude.
Yes, the dimitude.
All right, now, okay, you had something to talk about at the start of the show. I have something to say. We discuss topics on this show, and these are topics that typically can't be discussed anywhere else. And it doesn't necessarily mean because we're kicking around ideas. You're essentially listening to two guys talk about things. It doesn't mean that we are promoting something, that we are against a specific group, that we are for or con anything. But let me tell you, I think it was 3 episodes ago, maybe 4 episodes ago, we talked specifically about Israel and what is the special relationship. And we got a couple of emails. But man, when you talk about the caliphate and the Ottoman Empire and the bloodless jihad, oh my goodness! I don't
get anything.
You didn't. It's probably because my email is just easier to come up with.
Adam@curry.com.
Yeah, instead of John@Dvorak.org. Let me say,
This probably accounts for 10% of it.
So there was a plethora of emails from people saying that we're an Islamophobe. That's one.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, there was a lot of people saying, no, you got it all wrong. It's the Jews, not the Muslims. I'm like,
they
what?
want the caliphate?
He's like, the caliphate is made up by the Jews, propagated by the neocons. I mean, this is the kind of emails that I'm getting.
We hear these guys we listen to C-SPAN, we watch these representatives of certain Middle Eastern countries talk about the caliphate.
Right. So let me say this.
Okay.
Jews and Muslims, on behalf of the rest of us, can you work this shit out already? I'm so sick and tired of it.
Be done.
I'm so sick and tired of it. I mean, wait, let me finish. No, this is really important. Someone's got to say it. I don't care anymore what your problem is historically. Get over yourselves.
They can't.
Seriously, don't be so negative. They can. Get over yourselves. Everybody, for a second. And you know what? And let me just lump in some other religions there. Not everybody is buying into this. And just please, thank you. On behalf of the rest.
Thank you. They're not going to do anything. You're thanking them for nothing.
Thank you for listening.
They're not listening.
It is so unbelievable. And the hatred.
I used to
from both sides, the hatred. Just because of one little topic that we're talking about. And maybe it's not even a little topic.
Well, it's a big topic to them.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a big topic to certain dominionists in the Christian community.
Dominionists.
Yeah, there's a topic.
There it
we
is.
have not jumped into that, baby.
Oh, boy.
We're not doing it today, but one of these days
but
we might.
There's essentially, and it became very clear with this, I think it was a reasonably tame conversation. You know, I have had some experience living in Europe. I have seen the immigration.
They've been butchering one or two of your friends.
Well, when you see
fanatics.
But even that, the comments about that are, well, he wrote a book that if you would replace the word Islam with Judaism or Muslim with what?
This is weird because this is the second time this has happened. My speakers went to mute on their own. I have to turn them back.
Yeah, that's all right. Do you know where the mute button is? The unmute button? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's the cedar fever. Everything sounds a little weird today.
I'm sorry. My speakers went to mute.
Yes.
Well, you were yakking away there, and like an idiot. Wait a minute. You got to imagine this. I'm saying, hold on, Adam. My speakers went to mute. I don't know what you're going to say. I can't hear anything.
And you could also just unmute them.
That's what I did.
Good. But this particular topic that we broached in 585, which was really based on nothing more than just, actually hunting around Turkey and just, and historical perspective of the Ottoman Empire, which I don't think can be denied actually existed. But what to me was interesting is what you had.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really rough to deny the Ottoman Empire existed.
No, but I found it so interesting that there are an equal amount of people who are, call me out as saying you're an Islamophobe. You guys are crazy. All this jihad is made up. The suicide bombers, seriously, I had people emailing me. No, the suicide bombers are, they're Jews. I'm like, okay. I mean, it is so insane.
I don't know why these people even listen to the show.
Well, I think a lot of them really, they love listening to the show, but when it comes down to this one particular topic, it's very explosive. And it's disappointing. It's really, really disappointing because there's a lot of people whose opinion I value, and and seriously, I got like, hey, what are you ragging on the Muslims for? They didn't cause 9/11. Like, okay, what? Yeah, the Mossad. I was like, whatever. It doesn't really even matter anymore.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens after the two groups exchange about 10 warheads.
What do you mean?
At some point.
No, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't see that happening either.
Well, you think they're just like arguing.
Yeah, it's just, yes, this is exactly it. They just like arguing. And the internet has given people the pro-Jew, the pro-Muslim, the anti-Jew, the anti-Muslim, the Islamophobes, the anti-Semitics. It's just given them a place to bitch more. And I quite honestly, I don't even want to talk about these things. I'm tired of it. There's nothing productive coming out of it. The only messages I'm getting are, you're wrong. It's like, say something productive. Let's look at it from a geopolitical standpoint. Let's look at it from a much bigger level than, I'm sorry, whatever vastness people seem to give to the religious angle. And both of these religions, I'm extremely annoyed with both of them.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Let them all hate you equally.
Yes. One of them is like you're pounding your head to the pavement 5 times a day. The other one, you're sitting, you throw the women up in the balcony, and it's crazy. It's all crazy.
Well, you're doing that.
And your gods are doing nothing for you. Meanwhile, your homelands are turning into rubble. How's it working out? Anyway, thank you all for using the email hashtags while emailing me, though. That was nice. Hashtag Islamophobe. That's very nice. Appreciate it. Yeah.
We have said actually over and over since I think the early days of this show that most Muslims are moderates, and they hate all this bull crap.
And I think
and of course it's like what's happening in the Central African Republic. The extremists and the people that are these sorts of people are making it miserable for everybody, not just the people that they're targeting, but they make it miserable for the moderates.
Yeah. No, I think it's just ruining the whole world for everybody. Here, it's like the first tweet that comes in while we're having this conversation, doing the live show.
Wait. Which reminds me, I did a retweet. I'm going to go retweet.
Yeah.
First tweet.
At the real Dvorak, at Adam Curry. It's unfortunate to equate anti-Israeli policy with anti-Semitism. How about de Blasio's secret AIPAC meeting? Yes, people. The entire American government is under control of the Israelis. Yes, I know.
Let's take a look. Now, here's Don Chappelle, who's the guy who sent that note in publicly. Yeah. He's got his face painted black on one side, white on the other, like the old Star Trek episode.
He has 425 followers.
He's got 425 followers. He says, nightmarish technophile knowledge junkie. He's a knowledge junkie. That's why he listens to the show, of course.
Obviously.
Wisdom fiend, another good reason. Modern, classic, timeless, futuristic, vintage, weapons of mass destruction, Brave New World, or 1984. He's in Philadelphia, which I think probably...
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
and
just...
He says again, bring up the de Blasio AIPAC.
But this is my point. This is again.
Why?
Who cares? Exactly. Why? What do I care? Go watch Glenn Beck if you're interested in that, or Fox News or MSNBC. I don't know. Watch something else. I don't care.
Yes, he's not following me, so blocked.
No, what's interesting is the geopolitical ramifications of these things. Because I'm pretty sure it's not. Well, look, I'm not. I don't know anything. What do I know? I just
quote from documents. It's all available there.
Yeah, but when you quote from documents, then it's
but we analyze.
That's propaganda.
Well,
You're reading the Jew propaganda, boy.
we read everybody's propaganda.
Exactly. Thank you.
So where was your thing? I got to retweet still instead of just blocking that poor guy.
Oh man. Okay, let me get into some meat and
You get worked up by you're getting thin-skinned.
No, that's not true at all. This was very surprising.
I don't see your tweet.
No, I tweeted maybe 15 minutes ago. It's around.
There it is.
Yeah. No, I'm not thin-skinned. No more than usual. Let's put it that way. I was disappointed. That's the word. I'm really disappointed.
Do you really expect people to be throwing posies at us?
No. But just some
Great
of the
analysis, Adam.
Yeah, no.
Once in a while you get that, I'm sure.
Yeah. But whenever it's about this particular topic, Israel, no, not even that. Jews, Muslims, either one of those, it just brings out such hate and know-it-all. Just
yeah, you're right. It's not Israel. It's Jew Muslim.
That's what it is. Yes.
Boil it down.
Yeah, Jew Muslim. Please, I'm an atheist.
Semites hating Semites.
Yeah, who knows what it is? My dad's going to get baptized.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's found religion. I know. I know.
Wow.
I know. And
maybe he'll get to talk to you.
I get a note from the pastor of his church.
What is it, a Lutheran?
Well, no, that's a good question.
Yeah, you should know this.
It's one of those kind of
one of those Dutch Lutheran churches.
No, it's not Dutch. It's an expat church, which is I think the worst.
Oh, it's a front for the something or other.
Whatever it is.
It's a front.
And I get my dad's he's not doing too well physically, and he's in a home.
How old is he?
He's young. He's I think he's 75. Young.
Jeez.
I mean, relatively young.
And he's in a home already.
Well, he's had multiple strokes and all kinds of stuff,
that would be a problem.
And then his second wife said, "Screw you, you're an idiot," and kicked him into the home, and one of those things. So anyway, I'm in touch with him, and and I knew that he went to church once in a couple months, and now he's like all in. Okay.
Well, they must see. I want to know what the sermon guy was saying. Wow.
Yeah.
Better than my last email, that's for sure.
But it's interesting if you get baptized when you're 75. And I think he was baptized. Maybe this is a round baptism 2.0. I was baptized.
Was he baptized when he was a kid? He must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then what do you need to be baptized again?
I don't know. I haven't asked him.
Maybe.
No, I'll ask him.
There's a bunch of jokes in there. I'm not going to use any.
That's good. Don't. I'm going to ask him. We're hooking him up again with emails.
Maybe because the new church requires it, whatever the church is. You got to figure out what denomination of. I'm sure it's not a Catholic church. It's probably it might be.
Well, if you have a second, I can probably find it.
In Holland, the Catholics were like persecuted, and they have that. If anyone goes to Holland, to Amsterdam in particular, there's this great church that is a series of fourth floors and a bunch of houses in a housing row, and the church takes up the top of these houses, and it's called the Secret Church or something. It's a Catholic church. You ever been to this thing?
Which church is this?
It's a tourist trap. You probably, since you live there, you never went.
Probably didn't go there.
No, it's like typical. But I knew about it, and because it's highlighted on a lot. There's two things that are highlighted in Holland I wanted to see. One was Miniature World, which is the coolest place ever.
Maduro Dam, right?
And the other one is this church, and it's called the Secret Church or the something or other. It was a church built in the 1600s, I guess, and or maybe earlier. And there's a bunch of the houses in Holland, in Amsterdam, are right next to each other. Bum, 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 bum. And apparently there's a group of them, about 6 or 7 houses. And if you go to the top floor, those houses are all interconnected to make a big church.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
And you go up there, and there's a church. It's a pretty good-sized church.
You're right. This is something the locals don't go to.
Right. The locals don't go to. Why would they? But it's cool, believe me. I mean, if I was a local, I would go to it because it's so interesting. And what's really interesting is when you leave this church, and I always said this is not a bad idea. They have this stairway that comes out one of the entrances that is essentially, if you tried to walk down the stairway, you would kill yourself because it's impossible. Right. It's more like a ladder than a stairway. And what they do is they have this big, thick rope. And you hold onto the rope.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, like a ship's rope, like an anchor line.
It's like a ship's rope. And that is a great product.
The rope?
Well, I think the rope and the kind of stairs makes for a very interesting, compact way of moving up and down a couple of floors.
Okay.
I mean, if you lose the rope, you'll kill yourself.
All right. Go to xrds.nl.
I was just stalling for time there for you.
Thank you. This is the church. XRDS. X-Ray Romeo Delta Sierra. Crossroads International Church.
.com?
.nl.
.nl, sorry.
A dynamic Christian community that attracts people to Christ, helps them take their next steps in faith, and equips them to serve God in the world. Find out more. Look at this website.
Slick.
What?
Oddly slick. It looks like a kind of a slickish, very slick website. Too slick for a church, to be honest about it, including these big churches.
Yeah.
Elders, deacon staff, vacancies, internships, vision, where we come from. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Oh, they have a video. Let's see what they have a promo. Here we go, everybody. Nice little shot of canals. Girls on bikes. Crossroads. All right. Well, it looks like a nice community. Am I going to say anything? Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
Jeez, one of these singing churches.
Oh, no.
I think I've told you.
By the way, hold on. We're who we are, and you go to the who we are and where we come from, and click on that.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. It does come up. It comes up. It's one of those embedded things. You can't tell that it changed. The church was started in '87 by a church planting team sent out by Christian Associates International. This is the group you want to look up.
Yeah.
An American mission organization based in Thousand Oaks, California, by Linus Morris.
Linus Torvalds?
Morris.
Okay.
Natalie Morris's
cousin.
Well,
this kind of makes sense. Now that I see this video, I think I told you that when I was young, my parents were Unitarian, or they belonged to the Unitarian Church.
Oh, that's interesting.
And when we moved, and so I remember going to the Unitarian Church in Kensington, Maryland, a couple times to Sunday school. And when we moved to the Netherlands, they found other like-minded Unitarians. And the thing I remember, which scarred me for life, was getting up at 4 a.m. to drive for an hour and a half to meet my fellow Unitarians and to drive up on the hill, which is hard to find in Holland, and sit there and wait for daybreak.
They said you were in Maryland.
No. After Maryland, we moved to the Netherlands, and my parents found like-minded Unitarians.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Yes, like-minded Unitarians. And so there was an expat Unitarian group. And so we had to get up at 4 a.m, my sisters and I, and we drove, an hour and a half south of Holland, where they have some hills, and then the Unitarian group, we drove up and then walked up the rest of the hill, and then as the sun was coming up, someone on a cassette player played Cat Stevens' "Morning Is Broken."
Cat Stevens, who became a radical Muslim.
Yes. And let me tell you, that scarred me.
Why? Because you couldn't wake up, or you're stoned, or what?
No, when you're sitting there as a kid and you really want to be watching cartoons. And you're sitting there.
How old were you?
I don't know, 8, 9.
Oh, yeah, that would
Morning has broken. The first thing you want to go is just break that cassette over someone's head.
That is a bad song.
Not good. Not good.
Latest news here at the Crossroads Church.
No, okay.
Want to be baptized?
Let's get off of this.
Wait, there it is. There's what your dad read.
I know.
On March 2nd. He's going to get baptized. I bet she's going to get baptized on March 2nd.
Let me find out.
That's the day.
It's true.
They're going to have a massive one of these. I've seen these on the television. Some of these churches will do
Sunday, March 2nd.
Yeah?
Yeah, this right here.
They line them up in a huge line.
What the hell?
And it's probably a dunk tank baptism. It's probably not your regular baptism.
Oh, gosh.
So
I'm going to, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to this thing, and when they get to my dad, I'm playing Cat Stevens. as they get ready to dunk him. Hey, Dad. Morning has broken. Holy crap. All right. Onward.
That's
Onward.
sinful.
Yes. Okay. I'm not quite sure how we got from the caliphate to morning has broken, but it's been an interesting ride. In the morning, everybody.
In the morning.
Oh, are we going to do that? We might as well. We might as well.
Yeah, we might as well. Unfortunately, it's going to take me a couple of clicks before I can. But I want to say in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning to all the ships at sea. If we still have any ships at sea, can our ships at sea please write in? Also, subs in the water, boots in the air, and feet in the air. Feet in the air, boots on the ground, and all the dames and knights out there.
Yes, and in the morning to all of our human resources in the chat room there, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. Good to see y'all singing along with Cat Stevens today. And in the morning to all of our artists, thank you very much. Oh, boy. And something went wrong here with my system. Who did the art on 585?
Somebody.
I'm going to check right now. 585. The art was done by...
It was, it was the, you know who it was. It was
yes.
Our Dutch
yeah, but he has a Festival Vibrowski. He has his...
that uses that name.
Yeah, his pseudonym, his pen name.
Yeah, he had more luck, by the way, with his art. That's the pen name.
Yeah, true.
I don't think this is very good. I'll use my pen name, and he gets picked.
Yeah, we
know who you are.
Not a great showing today. This is
no. This was a miserable. Which
I'm attributing this, by the way, to my cedar fever and my illness.
No, I'm attributing it to my lack of being able to carry the show when we didn't have one. We didn't have a deep analysis in the last show. Wait, here's the number of possibilities: cedar, beaver fever.
Not enough Justin Bieber in the show.
Not that exactly.
Yeah,
got a little today. Not enough deep analysis. That would be my fault because it would be up to me. Although I didn't know you had Bieber fever, and also I think this is the one that's going to irk you.
Show notes?
No, was the show notes bad?
No.
No. I think the show. I'm getting the impression that we're running so long on these shows that people are falling so far behind. We had a note today from some guy, on show 582, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I didn't know.
You shows behind.
No, you forwarded that note to me, and I didn't appreciate it, which is why you forwarded it to me.
Yeah, I did. I forwarded it to you because I knew you wouldn't appreciate it. But what was funny about the only thing, what do you think I forwarded that to you? What was the little needle in there?
Not enough crazy crap in the second half of the show.
No.
Too much. He said too much snow job.
Oh, in fact, what he's bitching about wasn't even true. You missed the whole thing. So I send you this needling email knowing that's going to irk the heck out of you. And you take everything and you just, okay. Never mind.
What was it then? You're
not playing enough little jingles when I'm cueing you.
Yeah, right. You thought that was it? Is that what's going wrong? We're not in the morning. We're not doing enough jingles now. Is that the problem? Okay. All right. No,
anyway, I think maybe it's also these long shows are putting people. Oh God, we have the. I don't know. Maybe the employment's still going up, and they're not commuting to work. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But
today is all-time low.
6 hour, probably close to 6 hours of material a week.
Well, we're going to start doing less.
Compensation today was just really bad. So it is a reflection on a number of things, but I hope it straightens itself out. Let me thank the executive and associate executive producers for show 586. Also, we don't have a good donation gimmick.
Well, I've been trying the 2030 Club.
Archduke David Foley comes in with $333.33 as he makes his march to Grand Duke.
Right.
He's the Duke of Silicon Valley. He's in the Los Altos area. ITM, John and Adam, the reports of my demise are greatly exaggerated. Hopefully, the Illuminati will take note of the donation amount and back off. Thanks for providing the best podcast in the universe. He's run into some issues that we'll talk about sometime in the show when he actually explains what's going on.
Yeah. Are your speakers muted, or are you hearing me?
Support him in his efforts.
I guess your speakers are muted again, aren't they?
And give him karma. He didn't ask for one, but he deserved it.
I'm just going to keep talking until you figure out that your speakers are muted again. And
Did I lose the whole show here?
Yeah, I think your speakers are muted again. And
what happened? Oh,
yes,
here it is.
And your speakers are muted again, weren't they?
Here's the problem.
And I know when this happens because I'll say something and you don't respond, and I'm like, his speakers are muted again.
Okay. I figured it out while you were talking about the church in Amsterdam. This keyboard, which is an ASIO wireless keyboard, which is a nice keyboard, for some reason, and it's only been in the last couple of shows, I've been fiddling with it as I do the show. I have it on my lap. Usually I put it aside. I don't use it at all.
You're in the chaise lounge again.
I'm kind of I'm comfortable. So
moreover,
it's got a mute button in the upper left-hand corner, and it's a real smooth finish, and you just want to rub your thumbs on it because it feels so good, and you rub over this button, and it mutes the speakers.
Wow, John, what a great find! Wow.
Anyway,
okay.
So, big karma for
yes, no, big karma for our Archduke David Foley.
You've got karma.
Rolling out the magic numbers, and we certainly hope the magic number karma works for you.
Dugwin J. Goins in St. Petersburg, Russia. I want to go to the Hermitage, and maybe I can get a tour, or maybe he can help me arrange something so we can go into the basement.
Oh.
500. I had a couple of people offer this to me, and I never follow up because it's not that easy to get to St. Petersburg. But the Hermitage is one of the great museums of stolen art in the world.
Oh, really?
Oh, they got more stuff than the Nazis ever.
Do you know that St. Petersburg was modeled after Amsterdam?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was literally built with the canals of Amsterdam in mind.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Do you know that Vladivostok has the same cable car system that San Francisco has?
No, shoot, you trumped me, John. No, I didn't know. Hey, welcome to Russian Trivia, everybody. No, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, Dugwin's got $308.62. We'll make an executive producer for that. And
he's going to be knighted today.
Knighted.
Yeah, excellent.
Needs Adam to kick in the last penny.
Oh, of course, happy to do that. Got it right here. It's a big penny.
And he just needs to be called Dugwin J. Goins.
And he wants to be the Thursday night.
Thursday night. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, we only have 3 because of I don't know. James Pyers in Escondido, California, $228.82. In the morning, John and Adam, please accept my donation. $222.82 plus 6 for my youngest daughter's birthday, Serafina. Please give karma to all 3 of my kids, Natalie, EJ, and Serafina, and my fantastic, beautiful wife, Jasmine. Please play the mac and cheese jingle for the kids. Please keep up the invaluable media data collection you provide, as I'm sure you are storing it all in a secure location in one of John's basements. Wait, no. Is No Agenda in the Fed's real? Is it the real Fed? Blew the joke.
Yeah, hold on.
Wait, is No Agenda the Fed's real honeypot? Smiley face. Tip of the day. One interesting way to listen to No Agenda is that I found, especially for all the boners out there, is to pick out significant events by date and then listen to the following No Agenda. For example, after we killed bin Laden, allegedly, the follow-up No Agenda episode in the case 301 is generally epic. It's epic. Or just keep listening to the latest shows if it works too. Thanks for your courage, the Sir Wire of the Hidden Jewel.
James Pyers. All right, so we have some karma first for his kids, for Natalie, EJ, and Serafina, and his fantastic, beautiful wife, Jasmine. I'm going to roll that out for you right now.
You've got karma.
And I'm not quite sure if he wanted... Well, I'll play both of them.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese, cheap macaroni, and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese. Living the mac and cheese life.
Mac and Cheese by Ayn Rand.
There you go. Now that does it.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
I want to remind.
Question. Are we going to the club today?
Yeah, I do have a club script.
All right, good.
And we've got, I think,
we got a lot of ladies in the club today. Club 33, yeah. John C. Dvorak on the mic, on the wheels of steel, and the iron baton. as he will be bringing the ladies up on stage, making it rain.
Club 33.
Club 33, making it rain, exactly. A couple of PR mentions. Now, we haven't done a lot of these, but I think this 2030 Club, there's something to it, John, and it's catching on. And people are registering new domains. We have isit2030yet.com, something to look at. 2030survivalguide.com. Now, this is interesting. This is from Blake. The idea is that people submit chapter ideas and vote them up or down. And he says if we, you, John, and I, promote the hell out of it, we could have a finished product maybe by 2030. Yeah, it's possible. DH Slammer has registered 2030prepper.com, 2030prepperguide.com, prepfor2030.com.
Oh, these are all good.
These are all fantastic. These are all forwarding to noagendashow.com. And someone pointed out to me that on the 10th of, what was this? Wow, was this October maybe? We played a clip by Bob Geldorf, and we didn't even realize what he was saying.
You cannot afford to let your generation fail. There will not be another World War I or World War II. There will be a mass extinction event.
Hey!
And contrary to the optimism of Mohammed and Kofi, this could well happen on your watch.
Oh, when could it be?
And all the signs are there that it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it will happen soon.
Come on, Bob.
And so coming together today gives a sense of urgency. It is in our interest to have the poor with us producing things, because then they can have money to buy our stuff and we have the money to buy theirs. That is clear. Will it happen? It's possible. It's possible. You can set a date of 2030.
There you go. There you go. I think we got to do more with this 2030.
Who caught that?
One of our producers.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is from a show in October of last year.
Wow.
Yeah. We didn't catch it at the time. We were just laughing at Bob Geldof.
Put that one aside.
Yeah. I wanted to post-produce it because he gets kind of excited at that one moment. I think I could do some echo. Yeah, let's do it.
It's
again.
possible. You can set a date of 2030.
Wait, it's a little bit earlier.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. If you're going to produce it, slow it down too. Do one.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to slow it down a little.
It's possible.
I got to. The exciting part is a little bit before that here somewhere.
And so coming together today gives a sense of urgency.
Yes, it's coming here. Watch.
It is in our interest.
That's it.
Intelligence work takes place within a strong legal framework. We operate under the rule of law.
Have the poor with us.
For it. In some countries, secret intelligence is used to control their people. In ours, it only exists to protect their freedom.
Producing things, because then they can have money to buy our stuff, and we have the money to buy theirs. That is clear.
And you can put a date on it. Now, I got to work on it. But yeah, if I slow him down a little bit, give him a little echo, a little creepy music.
Yeah, he needs to be slowed down a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That other guy, he doesn't need to be slowed down that much because he's a boring blowhard. He already talks slow. Well, yes.
All right. I think it's obvious from this very short list, and believe me, we'll have plenty of time for the club because the regular donor list is extremely short today, that we need help. And we'd like you to really consider this because, after all, it is your show. You produce it. And just like in Hollywood, the executive producers and associate executive producers get the credit up front. And we need more of this. Please go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, you can always go out and propagate the formula. It is one of the most important things you can do.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Okay. All right. Can I roll into something here that I did? I actually did quite a bit of work the past few days.
How's your? Well, before you do, I do have a personal question. How's Bieber Fever doing?
It was rough.
So it's a short-term thing or what?
Well, of course we had snow the day after we did the show.
And that fixed it?
That, of course, made it much better. I do have a HEPA filter thing running in the bedroom. I've ordered 2 more for the house.
Okay.
That, by the way, saved us. We're convinced that your idea there, that was a real winner. And a couple other people wrote in about that as well. Of course, doing neti pot and everything. So it's much, much better. Much better. But my hearing is off. I'm not sure, that's why yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not sure if, how everything sounds. It's hard to do a mix, basically, on the fly. But much better. Thank you for asking, but definitely not out of the woods. It really is a reason to not want to live in Austin. It really sucks balls. It's that bad. It sucks balls. Well, I also have the mold. You wind up, you're taking all these, well, it's all organic herb stuff, but it's like, I'm not even hungry for breakfast after I'm done taking all these things. I'm filled up. Yeah.
All right. Okay, what do you got?
All right. So, the Davos. Davos.
Did you read that New York Times article?
Which one is that?
God. The one is just, I think they were trying to be ironic.
I saw one that Marissa Mayer is now the Oracle.
The new one.
The Oracle of Finance.
One.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, the Oracle of Finance.
Marissa Mayer is going to tell us about the debt ceiling. That was pretty funny. As much as I like her, shut up. Just shut up, Marissa. You don't need to be talking. I mean, just looking at the people who are at Davos, this thing has jumped the shark so massively. And it's expensive. And, Matt Damon flying in, with helicopter, landing on the roof.
It's not an easy place to get to.
No, he and Jamie Dimon, the 2 separate S-76 helicopters. They're the superstars. I got something from Jamie Dimon later on, too. But there was one panel that I found was very interesting, and I watch as much as I can because that's what we do, so people at home don't have to. And, of course, the actual coverage that you get is so pathetic. And I think most of the journalists who are there they're just walking around with huge boners all day.
And the coverage is pathetic because there's really nothing to cover. And the journalists who get invited there, and I've known a number of people that have gone, and I could
Robert
have worked
Scoble,
my way into an invite.
Robert Scoble, the journalists who are invited. Yes,
is that you're not really, you're like a second-class citizen. You don't get to really hobnob with the hot shots.
Well, it's worse because there's all these rules. So you have breakfast, but you're not allowed to say with who, and it's like, what? Then don't pretend to be a reporter.
Right, exactly.
Well, there's a big rule of Davos, and you have to say Davos. There's a rule of Davos, and the rule is you can't, say who you had the breakfast meeting with.
Fight Club.
Well, it seems like it. And it's overrun with actors and celebrities and all of Yahoo's executive management is there. That should say enough. And Randy Zuckerberg is one of the young global leaders. Please. Okay. All right. So but there was an interesting panel, and interesting for a couple of reasons. One, so it was Ban Ki-moon, Al Gore, Bill Gates, the CEO of Unilever, some woman from an African nation, I forget which one, who was basically saying, we're victims of climate change, send us money. So and this is a big one, by the way, the big victim word. People are now victims of climate change, you see.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, particularly in poor countries. Victim. Yeah, you're a victim of climate change.
This is a possible show title.
Yeah. So that's something we need to keep our eye on this victim thing. But Ban Ki-moon, and there was a woman from the BBC moderating the panel. The whole thing is hilarious because she sets up and she introduces herself. She's kind of cute, too. I forget what her name was. And by the way, the journalists are always looking sharp and cute. I think they're all trolling for anything. So
you mean the female journalists?
I think the guys too. I think they're all looking
to get a date.
It's got to be a fuck
some
fest.
rich dude or chick.
It's got to. Well, hey, if I was a journalist and I was a single guy, I'd be like, "Oh, Marissa Mayer, I have some important questions to ask you." I'd be trying to nail that.
You look so good in that.
Marissa,
who's your designer?
Marissa, I really, really love that Givenchy number you had on the other day.
Love the shoes.
Jimmy Choo. All right. Wow. Ban Ki-moon. So she asks the question. She sets up a very nice intro, and the guy, no one is answering the questions. They just have a statement they're going to make, and it's usually done like, "That's a great question." Now, but before I want to say something, and then they never come back and answer the question. I have a question about Ban Ki-moon. Who the hell is this guy? And why is this? He has the personality of a dish rag. He's basically a lawyer from South Korea. If you look him up in the Book of Knowledge, okay, he was a lawyer, and he was like a deputy attorney general. He's been around, but what? Why is this guy? Why do we stand for this guy? He can't speak English. It's annoying. His message is always like 3 years behind the times. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of his.
He's not charismatic.
No.
And, so who died and made him the king? He's just some South Korean schmuck. But he said something in his opening remark, which was supposed to be an answer. And let me see if you catch it. So there's two things that were really pushing the climate change. And it became very interesting when Bill Gates was his turn at bat, as we find out that there's multiple agendas going on amongst the elites. But first, listen and tell me, I caught this, I was like, whoa.
It will strengthen our capacity to resilient infrastructure. It will also help our global health.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Ban Ki-moon, what are you saying? You're just throwing out things like biodiversity, global health, very good.
Sustainable
something.
Sustainable urban.
Urban. What urban?
Sustainable Orban.
Sustainable
That's
Orban.
Another show title.
I'm sorry. It's just not acceptable.
Urban and transportations, biodiversity.
Oh, there it is. But transportation, biodiversities. Please. This is now okay. Whatever. So he's leading into something important, I guess.
And it will also help us to address climate change, short-lived pollutants. All these are very important ones, which we have invested onto this one. That is why.
What was that?
I know. Well, I'm trying to give the guy respect, and I'm trying to listen
Bakers
to what
on the street in South Korea speak better than this guy. Believe me, I assure you.
I believe you. This is why this is no longer acceptable. Now, why do we have? And he went on for a good 11 minutes of this very difficult to parse crap.
I'm going to convene climate change summit meeting.
Okay, let me translate. He's having a climate change summit meeting this year. He's convening a summit meeting. And this is basically a promo for his summit meeting. That's all that he's interested in doing. However,
the United Nations on September 23rd, this will be only dedicated on climate change. I'm inviting all government leaders, business leaders, and civil society leaders, and even philanthropic community leaders.
Hey, invite a couple podcast leaders, Bunky, if you want some excitement.
So that they can bring their own commitment. There are two purposes.
Bring their own commitment and true purposes.
First, raise political awareness and political will at the highest possible.
Where is this guy? Where has he been? This is the only thing people are doing is raising political awareness about climate change.
Because we do not have any time lose at this time. We have only 2 years.
Okay, did you hear it?
I know what he said.
Okay.
You might as well just be playing it backwards.
He says, because we don't have any time lose now. Huh? And then he says we only have 3 years. Listen.
At the highest possible. Because we do not have any time lose at this time. We have only 2 years.
Why?
Wait, was it 2? It
three.
Sound like 2.
He says 3.
You sure?
We'll play it again. I'm pretty sure. I've listened to this.
Listen for 2. Listen for 2.
Who's at this time? We have only 2 years.
3 years. 3 years. We have 3 years.
3
years. Why 3 years? This is very interesting. I think he slipped here.
Okay.
What's the deadline?
I'm all ears now.
But unfortunately, the only thing I can think of is the end of President Obama's term is 3 years.
Oh.
I can't think of anything else. But he really says it like, hey, this is important. We only have 3 years.
14, so 15, so 2017, something's up.
Well, hello, Psycho Man.
Yes, 2017 would be the collapse of the world economy.
Thank you. So is this because they know it's coming?
Well, everybody knows about this cycle.
But just listen how he's saying
it. It's possible. Because we do not have any time lose at this time. We have only 2 years. Please bring your ambitious target and commitment to
bring some sandwiches. I don't know what he's asking us to bring.
Tackle this climate change.
Tackle.
And second one is to catalyze ambitious and decisive actions.
Nah, he just goes on and on and on. He's incomprehensible. But the 3 years, I have a feeling that is a known entity within this group of elitists. And there's something they're running up against. And, of course, it's no surprise that Al Gore was there. And I have to say, Al Gore is good, man. When he's on his game, when he's not humping women in hotel rooms, masseuses, like a little poodle, we have him.
I think he wants them to... Wasn't he looking for them to either suck him or jerk him off? He wasn't really humping anybody.
Right. No, I know. If I recall correctly, she was massaging him, and then he started humping her, and it was a little more than just asking for a happy ending.
I took him out of the picture for a while, thank goodness.
Yeah, but everyone's kind of conveniently forgot. If I were there, I'd be like, hey, should we have a massage after this panel? How about you, me, and Marissa go get a massage?
Woo!
Al Gore is good, man. When you listen to this rap he's got, now first of all,
he's been working for Kleiner Perkins.
No, but when you hear this rap that he's got, just imagine you're a confused elitist or rock star. It's kind of the same thing, and you believe that because you're rich and you have a huge fan base that you know how to save the world, which is pretty much what all these people believe on the stage. This is the sad thing. Listen to his rap.
Now, where climate itself is concerned, there is convergence there as well. These events that come out of climate-related extreme weather.
Oh, write that down. Climate-related extreme weather. I have climate-related premature ejaculation.
Really hurt the fight against poverty.
Really hurt.
And the fight to improve health.
It really hurt the fight to improve health? What? Do you hear that? He's talking out of his butt.
It's just this. Once you're hypnotized and you start listening to this guy, it's just all these memes he's going to start shoving in there.
Wait. He's so good. I'm not going to interrupt anymore. I'm going to try. He's so good.
Morning. Today, there are 4 million refugees who are homeless in the Philippines. And when Super Typhoon Haiyan formed in the windward areas of the Pacific, before impacting the Philippines, the Pacific Ocean was 3.4 degrees Celsius hotter than normal.
Really? I need to see some backup on that.
2 years ago, just before Hurricane Sandy hit New York and New Jersey, the windward areas of the Atlantic were 5 degrees Celsius warmer than normal.
5 degrees Celsius than normal. That's a lot warmer than normal. And these things are so, and no one ever asked. No, I've seen no one say, "Hey, let's go take a look at that."
I think that these extreme weather events, which are now 100 times more common than 30 years ago.
100 times more common.
100 times more common.
This guy is great.
100?
100. This guy is so good.
There's like 2 events.
It's 100 times more common.
Are really waking people's awareness all over the world. And I think that is a game changer. And it comes about, of course, because we continue to put 90 million tons of global warming pollution into the atmosphere every day as if it's an open sewer.
This is so good.
By the way, that open sewer thing I thought was genius.
You saw this?
Yeah, and the comment that the atmosphere is an open sewer. No, it's just a genius concept.
And but so our actual the breath that we exhale is treating the earth like it's an open sewer. because I'm exhaling carbon dioxide into the air like it's a sewer. But he's going to take it one step further.
And the accumulated man-made global warming pollution there now, according to calculations by NASA scientists, trap enough extra heat energy in the Earth's system every day, that equivalent to what would be released by 400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs going off.
What is that? What kind of comparison is that?
What?
Yeah, the horrible gases trapped is equal to 400,000 Hiroshima bombs. So, of course, the idea is all you're supposed to get from this is the idea of the mushroom cloud times 400,000 in the sewer that you're breathing into, you evil, polluting, horrible human being, victimizing poor African countries.
Every day. That's why the oceans are warmer. That's why the water...
Wait. Every day?
Every
There's
day.
400 bombs?
400,000 every day.
400,000 bombs?
Every day. Every day.
400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs going off every day. That's why the oceans are warmer. That's why the air is warmer. That's why the droughts are deeper. The floods are bigger. The ice is melting.
Shut up already. Science.
That is the best rap. That bit at the end, I gotta rehearse that. Let's just hear that again. That's so good.
That's why the droughts are deeper. The floods are bigger. The ice is melting.
Ice is melting. The guy is stellar.
Well, he's been working on this one pitch even before he was vice president.
In fact, climate change is responsible for Syria.
Makes sense to me.
Elsewhere in Switzerland, thank you to the Swiss people.
Shout out to my Swiss homies!
There are these negotiations involving the future of Syria. That is a drought-prone region, and the scientists tell us that the droughts are made deeper and more harmful. From 2006 to 2010, 1 million people from rural areas of Syria were driven by the worst drought they've had into the cities, joining 1 million refugees from Iraq, by the way, and the sectarian tensions just bubbled out of control as a result.
Okay, let me just understand. Because of climate change and global warming and the biggest drought since the Great Recession, 1 million people were driven into the cities, and there were a whole bunch of other Arabs, and they couldn't get along, and then boom! It's what we are today. Thanks, shout out Switzerland. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he does. This is his... He is, like you said, he's really good.
He's really good. Now, Bill Gates is on this panel. And when Bill Gates spoke, I finally understood that there's a rift amongst the elites.
Oh, there's always a rift. That's the greatest thing about it.
Right. So you have the climate change elites, which is really about putting a price on carbon, taxing people, and then pretending to send that to victims. And of course, some victims of climate change will get money, but it's all going to be stolen by the likes of Al Gore, or at least skimmed. And I'm very happy to state that as fact with his carbon exchange. It's skimming scammer, scam skimmer. Bill Gates, on the other hand, sees no bread in this.
No, he's not. He's got the money.
No, and he doesn't want to give his money to Al Gore.
No, he doesn't want to give his money to Al Gore or anyone else for that matter.
No.
He'd rather invest it in private prisons.
Well, and in Monsanto, and he's really heavy on pushing the Monsanto vibe and the seeds. And on this panel, he's pushed, and he's like, no, I'm not in on climate change. But if a farmer's going to get screwed by floods, then I'm helping the farmer anyway. And so it's kind of cute to see him. He's essentially saying climate change as an agenda, it sucks. You got no visibility, you got no PR, you're not doing it right. And it's pretty funny because he's basically slapping Al Gore in the face. I did like that.
And as Al Gore said, if you get health improved, if you get availability...
See, that was where Gore screwed it up. He said that improved health, and Bill jumped right in because Gates is smart. And unfortunately, Bill Gates really, really believes that he is smart enough to save the world.
Of contraceptions, then families will voluntarily decide to have less children. And that's good for all of this. If you want to feed, educate, preserve the environment, getting the peak population to be closer to 9 than 10 billion.
Peak population? And why is 9 better than 10 billion, John? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
Well, it's better for Bill. Why don't you just take it down to 500,000, Bill, like the Georgia Guidestones command you? It's a little creepy with the peak population should be 9 versus 10 billion.
Peak oil.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's where
that's good news. So I don't think it's necessary that focusing on climate change should take away from the development agenda.
It's the development agenda versus the climate change agenda, you see.
Climate change is a very important issue, and in fact, it should make us invest more in helping poor farmers, because weather's always been a problem for them. Weather's increasingly a problem for them. It wasn't good to begin with, but the trends are not in their favor. And
he's now taking climate change as a given, can't be stopped. So I'm going to help the farmers.
They get better seeds, storage, then they can handle a year that's bad without malnutrition or, in the extreme case, starvation. So the good news on the development agenda is there. I think one thing that both agendas need is research and development focused on helping them achieve their goals.
Yeah, more government money flowing in is what that means.
So in health, that would be an HIV vaccine, a malaria vaccine. In energy, despite the progress, reliable energy requires storage, requires getting the economics to be even better. And it's disappointing that the R&D budgets, whether in the energy space or the health space, haven't been a priority, and the economic crisis has made it easier not to think of those investments, because they only pay off in the 10 to 20-year time frame, particularly if you add in the deployment complexities for both energy and health.
Very interesting what he's saying here. So here is a scientist saying to Al Gore, you know, all this stuff you got doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's nice, you know, we need more research because it doesn't work. Your sun and wind is just not really working.
So I think both things are very important. I think climate's got an awareness problem, and an
awareness problem. What does he mean?
Climate's got an awareness problem.
Yeah, I think what he means is people are aware it's a scam.
Oh, I bet you that's exactly. What else could it mean? What else could it mean?
And he's a cynical douche, that Bill is.
One issue I think we have to be careful of is as the poorest are being lifted up, as they're getting lights and refrigerators, we are going to use more energy. There's not a solution here where we use less energy. We have to make the energy we use not emit any greenhouse gases, particularly CO2. So development's going well.
Nukes.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is perpendicular to what the president said when he was in Africa and said, y'all can't have refrigerators. Remember that?
Yeah.
You can't have lights and refrigerators. You can't have that.
Climate, I hope people are right that we can get the same sort of understanding of the solutions there that we now have in the development space.
In other words, development, great. Climate, sorry, you're sucking. You're just sucking.
Yeah, you didn't pull it off.
No.
And now you're with Gore just making it up as he goes along with some of these exaggerations. It's just...
Oh, but people buy into that. Particularly, I mean, who's going to... people are enamored by a celebrity like Gore. They go, it's Al Gore talking. What did he say?
Actually, now that you mention, I want to just as an aside. Mm-hmm. So Al Gore is... I was watching old reruns of 30 Rock, which are still better than half the things on television.
Yeah.
And there's one episode where Al Gore comes on. And all throughout, even though they have it scripted, and it's moderately amusing, Tina Fey, I don't care what she thinks, how good she thinks she can act. She had a look on her face during the whole scene that was just, I love this man. Yeah. Oh, I would do anything for him. Just that you could just see it. I mean, she couldn't get it off her face. This adoration.
Yeah.
And she's a celebrity.
Yeah.
No, Hollywood loves this guy.
Yeah. So finally, just to give you an idea of the type of people that are at this. And this is, I think, probably Davos is a place to go meet your customers. I don't care if you're selling oil or gas or weapons. This is where you're going to meet your customers.
These things are all that way, aren't they?
Yeah, but this is really, Rouhani was there basically saying Iran is open for business, and there's reasons for that. I think we can talk about that in a sec. But on this panel was the CEO of Unilever. This is the Anglo-Dutch packaged goods food company. Unilever, they're so huge. And this is a Dutch guy. And just to give you an idea of how out of touch with reality, in fact, the hostess from BBC tries to cut him off, I think, at a certain point, because he's really talking such crap. So, you go to Davos and, hey, they sell soap. They sell Axe, I think, as a Unilever product, so deodorants and soaps and, but they also have butter, I think, and so it's a little. This is what they say. This guy, we're going to save the world. We're going to save the world, people.
The climate change economy is going to show.
I'm sorry, the climate change economy. I'm sorry. An economy based on climate change. Lovely.
The climate change economy is going to show that this is an opportunity for positive growth, for job creation, whilst doing it the right way. So the business community here, feed in your experiences and your examples. This is not a government process. It really bothers me that we say these governments are negotiating something for the world. This is a citizens process. And and business also is there to serve the citizens.
Business is there to serve the citizens. Okay.
So we need to enroll the broadest group of people. The response we got from young people in the process leading up to the task force report makes me convinced that we need to fight on. We have discussed at the World Economic Forum here a project which is called Future Awesome.
So they're sitting there and they're like, hey, we got to put a steering group together. And
by the way,
it needs a name. It needs a name.
You have to stop.
Why?
You have to give that clip of the day.
Really?
Future Awesome?
Project Future Awesome.
Clip of the day.
I can just see these douchebags sitting around. We will call it Future Awesome. Yes. Yes. All the kids think it's really great. We will call it the Future Awesome. Yes, awesome. Wait. Call Curry and Dvorak for a jingle. Yes, awesome. Future awesome. Yes, it's awesome. Yes, very good. Very good.
Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Future awesome. Very great.
Where all the companies and others put all their connections together. Get the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Googles.
Get the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Googles. We put them all together for Future Awesome. We will save the freaking universe,
and
man.
Others together as well.
And others together as well. I think I have a boner in my pants. It's fucking crazy, man.
A billion and a half people. Create this movement because it's for everybody else.
Shut up.
You mentioned the complexity of the debate, and Al Gore, I suppose the difficulty with climate.
Let's go back to Al Gore. Yeah, let's go back to Al Gore because you're a moron. Did you hear how he's like, Future Awesome? They get the Twitters and the Googles and the Facebooks and you put them with other people as well, and then all of a sudden you're buying all of my deodorants. We put it on the packaging. Save the Earth. Right there in the pack with the URL, futureawesome.org.
Your accent is great.
It's sad.
Especially the way you say the word Earth.
Earth. And as the Secretary General just said, we only have 3 more years. 3 years. 3 years. I tell you, no Bush, but 3 years. I make a joke. Wow.
I don't know how you could listen to that crap.
Well, I do it because
great catches.
I think it's important that someone is listening to this.
I know they listen to each other, but I don't know how what effect any of it actually has. It's like this is the worst sort of drink or deteriorate. In fact, that's what the New York Times said. It's deteriorated in the worst sort of hoity-toity drinking club.
Yeah, it is.
They all drink and they think that they're doing something. They don't doing anything, and then they go back to their countries and go back to work.
Someone must be getting laid, though. I mean, come on.
Well, that's the question I wonder about. I mean, I think it's because they're so high end that they're not getting laid. I don't think this is a good getting laid event.
Really?
Well, there's never been a scandal. There's no discussions of hookers. I mean, if they're going to get laid, they're not going to get laid by the likes of Marissa Myers.
Hold on. Let me check something. Let me see if we do. No. I don't even see. There's not even a good hooker site for Davo. Let's see. Davo prostitutes.
That's probably why they're having it in Davo, because it's the only place in Switzerland where there's not a bunch of whores.
Let's see. Davo escorts in Davo Platz, high class Davo escort service. Let's see.
Okay, there is one.
Yeah, Cosmos escort. Well, it's hard. These escort sites. They're usually like they SEO a lot. Let's see. For Davo, we need a firm reservation at least 6 hours prior to the date. Well, what's the spur of the moment of that? Davo.
Yeah, that's no good. You can't.
Here, escort Davo with high-class escort service. Let's see. Vacation as a business.
Get a hold of Al Gore's itinerary. This would be answered, this question.
Let's see. Who are some of the ladies? Melina. Oh, she looks like something for Al Gore. Melina. And Jenny. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so there are a couple of whores in the area, which confirms that the whole country's filled with them.
I mean, of course, there's got to be some. I mean,
yeah, this is big money, but there's so much security and all the other bull crap.
The 6 hours is probably to get vetted.
Yeah, they got to send them through a security check. It takes 6 hours. And that's expedited. Probably costs an extra few $100. I mean, I can't imagine. These have got to be $5,000 whores
for
these
what?
guys.
For an hour or a night?
No. This we have for this level of guy. This $5,000 for just an hour if you're lucky. And they have to be very discreet. This has to be the ultimate in discreet, because we have never heard of a scandal. And so none of what's smart money. I mean, there's usually some kind of reporter hooker that can get into these things because she knows enough to be able to pull this off, and then get one of these guys in a compromising position, gets to either get information from him or then.
You got to be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I don't think anything's going on.
Let's talk about the 6-week cycle for a moment, because we got a lot of people calling this Maryland mall shooting 6-week cycle. I'm not convinced. I
at first wasn't, but then I started. I do have a couple of clips. We might as well play them so we can get this out of the way. I guess I only have one clip, which just kind of explains what happened. And the reason that I could, unless something else happens, I will tick it off the box tick off the box.
Maybe I should just reiterate the 6-week cycle so people understand, who are new to the program, understand what we're talking about. We were informed by an FBI producer of the show, who works for the FBI, that every 6 weeks the FBI needs to have an event, and the event is multiple purpose. One, of course, to remind the citizenry that they need to shelter in place, cower in the corner, and be very afraid, and just shut up. And
we had that element.
Yes, most importantly, the FBI needs to qualify the reason for their existence. And, of course, now that they have given up law enforcement as one of their actual missions, but they're all homeland security, protecting the homeland. That article came out, I guess, last week or so, that they changed their mission statement.
Right.
They need to show that they're protecting the homeland from any type of terror. Homegrown terrorism, of course, is what they're supposed to be doing. And so what I missed in this story, although FBI was on the scene very quickly, which is very suspicious, we have a dead perp. No good. We need to have a live guy that we can shoot in the neck.
We have a lot of dead perps in a lot of these.
Yeah, but there was no honeypot. There was no big month-long setup of trolling the guy that we know of yet. I mean, it's early days still. Early days.
Well, it wasn't a mass enough. For one thing, it was like a local, to me.
Local story.
It was a local story of a shooting.
Yeah.
This happens in Oakland all the time.
Not interesting. White people in a mall.
So we have, and the mall. I like the mall. Here's what it is. For one thing, they can't overdo this every time. So let's assume, just for the sake of argument, because it does work on the cycle. It hit right on the money, almost on the day of the cycle of the 6 weeks. So let's assume that it is the cycle event, and with this sort of a rationale, it was lesser a lesser event, which is you have to have sometimes. It was associative, which I think is a big deal, and I think that's overlooked a lot. And it's associative with the Kenya mall shootings. In other words, when's the last time we had a mall shooting that got this much attention?
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of radicals, terrorists. It brings back memories. It's within memory.
Wrong gun. It's a 12-gauge shotgun. Wrong weapon. The guy does not have 3 names.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's listen to the report.
There are indications tonight that a mall shooting in Maryland could have been worse. Investigators say they detonated crude explosive devices found inside the gunman's bag.
Yeah, this could be, like Bic lighters or something. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what that is. Yeah.
They say he shot and killed 2 people, then himself inside the mall in Columbia. Police are using dogs overnight to search the mall, which will remain closed tomorrow. ABC News reporter Chuck Sievertson has new details.
I think that's where the panic is. What? The mall's closed? What? Panic!
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back on your complaints, and I want to give you the guy's name. This is one of the big news outlets.
It may have just come out now.
Darian Marcus Aguilar.
Okay, all right. No, he's got 3 names. Good. He did just purchase the weapon, which is also good.
Yeah.
He just bought it a month ago, but it should have been an assault-style rifle, military assault-style rifle.
It was just before lunchtime.
With huge clips. Not a magazine, clips.
But he had a bunch of ammo all over. If you played out the clip that
I'll shut up.
This mall, a half hour's drive from Washington, D.C.
There were a lot of people here at the Columbia Mall Saturday morning at 11:15. This was a very scary incident.
Gunshots rang out.
Boom! And then followed by 4 or 5 more. Boom, boom, boom.
People were screaming, running, and scrambling for cover.
My manager yelled, "Everyone get in the back, in the back."
SWAT teams responded within 2 minutes of getting a 911 call. They safely directed people into a parking lot, some of them in tears as they returned to their cars or boarded buses.
People were running either straight down the mall corridor or just running into stores, and I didn't know how safe it would be to just keep running in the open.
Police found 3 people dead on the upper level. They identified the victims as 21-year-old Brianna Bilolo and 25-year-old Tyler Johnson, both of Maryland. The third body is believed to be that of the shooter.
When our officers approached, he was obviously deceased, but he was also still had a large amount of ammunition still on and about him.
Because of concerns about weapons and the possibility of explosives, police proceeded with caution. Authorities are still working to verify the suspect's identity and his motive for killing the 2 skateboard shop employees. After a thorough search, authorities gave the mall an all clear, but it remained closed the rest of the day. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
Yeah.
A couple of things. We got lots of ammo, which is weird because it's a shotgun.
Well, what is lots?
And
what is
shotgun
lots?
was also used in the Navy Yard shooting, if you recall.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's got all the elements except for the FBI investigation, but you said that they were there early. It's got all the elements. It's a public. It's a national story. These stories happen all the time. They pick the one out on the 6-week cycle and make it a national story.
Okay. I'll give you that. There was also a drill nearby.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a drill nearby. I just don't feel it's the FBI's style to kill people. That's CIA.
Do we know anyone's actually dead? Did they haul him out?
Well, so of course, this is what's always. I find it interesting that we have the names of the victims so quickly that typically when it's real, it takes a long time, and we're not going to release the names. This is same day that we have the names. We had the names of the victims before we had the names of the
They didn't have the right 3 names. Darian Marcus Aguilar.
That's possible. You know that the
DMA, by the way.
I learned there's a master deceased file that the United States government maintains, and so when someone dies, they're put into this file. And you can pretty much go online and you can request everyone who's died in America in the past, day or month or whatever. I believe I heard there's legislation, or maybe it's already passed, that the master dead file will now be locked down for 2 years. So you cannot find out who died officially.
What?
Yeah.
Where did you get this?
Wow.
This is perfect for these bullcrap events.
Let me see. It's something. It's called the Master Deceased File. Something. I heard about this Death Master File. There we go. Let's see. Death Master File. Here we go. Tighter access. Yeah, this is from. I told you. It's funny how you pick stuff up.
Why should it be tight? What is the rationale for this?
Well, this is from NPR. The Death Master File, let's see. In 1980, a court ruling ordered the government to make the Death Master File, or DMF, publicly available. Now, anyone who pays the price can get access to all or part of the file, and that has unfortunately led to cases of fraud. Last month on Capitol Hill, Senator Bill Nelson, Democrat from Florida, cited the ordeal. Okay, blah, 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 the reason why. And let's see. Congress didn't entirely close off access to the DM. I'm just reading this on the fly. So they have, Congress estimates limiting access to the Death Master File could save taxpayers more than $700 million in fraudulent tax refunds. Yeah, blah, 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 whatever. It doesn't quite say how they're shutting it off, but it looks like the Commerce Department has, yes, the Commerce Department, which administers the death file, is now closing it off, but there will be a process to certify legitimate users, which, of course, will not be you and I. The government has 3 months to come up with the certification process. So this is happening. This is a report from January 6th.
And so what the rationale, let me get this straight. The rationale for doing this is because people are filing false tax returns. And so what you're saying is that the IRS doesn't run a comparison of the tax returns to the list of dead people.
Well, it makes no sense, obviously. Obviously, it's for other reasons. It's to not know who's really dead, I presume. I could be gone for 24 months and you wouldn't know it.
As long as you keep doing the show.
Just be Mickey here playing. I thought about this the other day.
What, doing a robot Adam?
Yeah, there's enough of both of us. You could just, it would just be you going, that's bull crap.
Yeah, it's a living.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so here was a report that I heard that made me suspicious of this. This is I like getting as much as possible of the minute it happens on the scene reports. Where here's a woman. Not only did she not hear any shots, she just saw people running, which is a little counterintuitive to a shotgun in the mall. But she takes the opportunity here to do something
extremely loud,
very interesting.
Meantime, Judy Hoffman was a shopper in the mall. She's on the phone with us now. So, Judy, where are you now?
Actually, I'm not a shopper. I'm a manager at Fire and Ice at the Columbia Mall and near Nordstrom. Fire and Ice is a very unique, fascinating store. We sell jewelry, fossils.
Oh, please, lady.
She's making a plug for it. So apparently now, this is a disturbed woman who works at the mall, her place of business. There's 3 people are dead, yet she feels she can promote her store. I mean, really? And this is right there. It's happening as we speak.
Fire and Ice is a very unique, fascinating store. We sell jewelry, fossils, a number of different unique things from all over the world.
What happened while you were in the store today?
She just kept going, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's unique from all over the world. We got the best jewelry.
Well, when I was in the store, all of a sudden I was waiting on a customer, and I happened to see people running towards Nordstrom, which is one of the anchor stores that's close to us. And I said, what's going on? Why is everybody running? So I stepped out to the door.
So she didn't hear any shots. People just running around towards the anchor store.
And asked one of the girls running, what's going on? She said, there's been a shooting. And at that time, I said, oh, my gosh, I came in. I let my customers know that for their safety, they were allowed to walk the hallway or go out to Nordstrom's because I knew it was in the food court.
So she knew it was in the food court, yet she didn't hear anything, yet she saw people running. But please visit Fire and Ice. We're very unique in our jewelry. This is native advertising if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure that company doesn't even know what that means.
There was a kid.
Just plugola.
There was a kid in Pennsylvania who was arrested. He was making bombs in his room or something, in a suitcase. And that could be, I don't know. It's, yes, if the FBI decides to turn this into their event, if they didn't have anything planned, if they're going to use it because it's handy, convenient, they of course can turn it into the 6-week cycle event. Maybe after that C-SPAN call in, they're wary and they're trying to, change it up a little bit. We did
not change. It's possible that this was a dud, too. I mean, there could have been more to it, and it didn't work out.
We did tip him off. We did have someone call in to the, the guy who's in charge of the agents there, the agent drinking club of the FBI, and said 6-week cycle. And he's like, oh, what? It could be that they're tipped off and they're trying to just mix it up.
Well, maybe they were. Here's another one. If we want to take it to a meta level. They were tipped off, but these things are actually planned well in advance, and this was kind of nipped in the bud, but it still kind of went off, but it wasn't what it was going to be. Possible. And the FBI tried to distance itself. But they have to have these events. This is not like a choice.
Well, it's really a media event, as you pointed out. People are so poor at assessing risk. We could have made an entire story about at least the 3 people who died in traffic on the same day, or at least the 3 people who died of flu on the same day, or flu-related illnesses. But because we trump it up and it's the mall, I agree with you there, it makes you so afraid because, oh my gosh, let's not think about dying on the way to the mall, let's think about dying at the mall. Human beings do not know how to assess actual risk, what is actually dangerous.
No, they don't do any statistical analysis. I mean, this is like the possibilities of being killed by a terrorist event in any circumstance, anywhere, is outrageous.
Yeah, as in low, outrageously low.
Yeah, outrageously low. It's like trillions to one kind of thing, billions at least.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, that's the event.
Well, so I don't know. How do you feel? I think we leave it open for a few more days.
I didn't think much of it at first. First, there was an Indianapolis thing, which has been kind of like I didn't think that the messaging about Indianapolis really had anything to do with the 6-week cycle. I just thought that something was going to happen in Indianapolis. I think it was that big pileup was there too, and there was somebody shot.
Yeah. No,
minor things.
Yeah.
Although that pileup was interesting. That huge pile. Where was that pileup? That was outside of Indianapolis, I believe.
You mean the traffic pileup?
Yeah. Where was that? Let's take a look. Find out.
I'm looking now. It was Michigan.
Okay, I'm sorry. It wasn't Michigan. Indianapolis. So there's only the shooting in Indianapolis. So there hasn't. I don't know. Indianapolis.
It's only a shooting. This is no good. Only a shooting.
No, I mean, we don't know. I mean, something else. It could be code for God knows what, dropping off a package at a dead drop or something. Who knows?
Just got a note here from California. It started raining out of the blue at my house 30 minutes after you did your rain stick for California. Much appreciated. Please keep it up.
Where does he live?
Well, I didn't say, but I'm sure he's in California.
It's a big place.
We can do it. We can help it. Can you imagine Jerry Brown? Hey, agenda guys, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm holding on, as you requested.
Just wondering why the Mozilla... I'm sorry. I'm just preoccupied with this muting problem.
But that's your hand on the keyboard.
Yeah. It's bothering me to an extreme because it's happened a couple of times today on this show, and I don't even have the keyboard on my lap anymore.
It was a Russian teenager, a teenage Russian national, actually, I should say, who was arrested late Friday on charges of possessing a weapon of mass destruction, which, as we know, can be a large firecracker, according to the
an M100 definition. Would do the trick.
He is charged with possessing a weapon of mass destruction, risking a catastrophe, possessing instruments of crime, which is a podcast.
Yeah, a screwdriver in the house.
Podcast. Prohibited offensive weapons, incendiary devices, recklessly endangering another person, and several drug-related charges. And I thought that was going to be but it didn't pan out. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, whatever. Yeah. We got. Let's just assume whatever happened. It resets the clock.
Yes.
I'm going to go stay with the cycle until we have some real evidence that it's not in play.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Okay.
So a couple of things that were very interesting in regards to Turkey, and now I'm getting a lot of people paying attention to it, of course. Essentially, the Turkish central bank tried to intervene in the Turkish lira just collapsing, is what the financial reports are. Now, the way I understand, I wanted to read something to you because I subscribe to one newspaper which I get on my Kindle. Quite honestly, it's because I don't know how to unsubscribe from it. The Financial Times.
Huh.
And yeah,
it's one of your old favorites.
Yeah,
so you rebuked them some years ago, and now I didn't know you're still getting it.
Well, it's because I don't know how to turn off the subscription.
Are you paying? Yeah, do they bill you?
Yeah, they bill you. You got to go in. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. But from time to time, I'm like, oh, let me see what's going. It's very annoying to read it on the Kindle, but it's anyway. So they're trying to explain to me what happened with Turkey, and apparently it's related to a weakness of sentiment or sentiment towards emerging markets, and apparently Argentina is a part of it, and they say that Turkey is. Well, let me read this to you. Turkey is seen as one of the countries most vulnerable to the U.S. Federal Reserve's tapering of stimulus due to a persistent current account deficit that makes it reliant on short-term capital inflows. What does that mean?
Why don't you read that again and maybe I can figure it out.
Turkey is seen one of the countries most vulnerable to the U.S. Federal Reserve's tapering of stimulus due to a persistent current account deficit that makes it, I presume Turkey, reliant on short-term capital inflows.
Sounds to me as though the Fed is loaning Turkey lots of money.
Okay.
Which it tends to do.
And if
they start tapering, they're going to pull back everything. They're not only.
Hold on.
That's what's going on.
So we are printing. The Federal Reserve is printing money, which we pay for in interest, bonds, and they're giving that to Turkey?
Well, Turkey's paying for theirs too.
Bond investors have not turned tail. Earlier yesterday, the Treasury said there was strong demand for a $2.5 billion sale of 10-year bonds with a yield of 5.85%. This week's issuance means it has completed half its borrowing for 2014. So Turkey has already completed half of its borrowing for 2014. So that's a problem then.
Oh, yeah.
If it's only January.
It's January.
That's a problem.
So they're essentially running a huge, they're in the hole running a deficit spending operation for some reason. And that's what's paying for all the development that's going on over there.
Okay, now I get it.
They're expecting to develop. This is an economic hitman scam.
Exactly.
We've got them.
Yes. So the way I was looking at it is this is a planned, orchestrated takedown of the Turkish economy.
Yeah. So it
and check this out.
And we have to send our boys in.
Check this out. There are also signs that Turkey is struggling to attract direct investment in the wake of a corruption scandal, much of it focused on state tenders. It's interesting. The Financial Times does not mention it says 10% slide in the lira since mid-December when a corruption probe began that has fueled conflict between the government and rival factions. I find it interesting that the Financial Times does not just say the Gulenist movement, who every other newspaper, everyone else is pointing this out, that the Gulenists are all in the government there and have been systematically pulling it apart from the inside. So you've got to think, well, of course,
they're always partners. We have to remember that. The Gulenists were partners with the other half of these Islamists.
Yeah.
And that there was a break. We don't know what do we.
Well, here's what I'm thinking.
Thesis on the break?
Well, yes, maybe. So the players are: we have Erdogan, we have Qatar, we have Syria, we have Iran, and Russia as a main supplier of gas. Here's what I'm kind of because I know that this is for this to happen at the same time that the Geneva II protocol is taking place around Syria. This is not coincidence. So we know that Qatar, they wanted a gas pipeline, and if you look at the map, it would be from the south up through the north, through Syria, into Turkey. And I think it's pretty safe to say that the United States are in bed with the Qataris. And we know that Qatar was sending money, weapons,
so wait,
terrorists.
You think that they're in bed, or you think that I would more likely say there are lackeys.
Okay, that's good, our lackeys.
Okay.
But instead of that, Syria chose for the Iran-Iraq pipeline, which is coming from Iran. So now let's look at the coincidence here. So Syria has to come down. Qatar is we're pissed, or Qatar is pissed, whatever, about them choosing the Iran pipeline. Of course, the Russians are kind of backing that up. So what are we going to do? We got to start to rubbleize it. Who does it? Qatar. Qatar rubbleizes it by sending in, terrorists, and this goes on for a while, and then we come to a deal, and the deal is, look, Iran, we're gonna remove some sanctions, which really only means that you're going to be able to go to Davos and put up your for sale sign. So now you can sell more oil. Look, you're going to stop this pipeline to Syria. Okay, that's done. It's over. It's not going to happen anymore, because we want the Qatari pipeline. And I think what's happening is that it was kind of figured out. We worked it out. We gave them the lowering of the sanctions. Go ahead, you can sell to all these different countries now, which is really what the sanctions are about. Other countries being able to buy oil and petroleum products from Iran. Russia, they're kind of happy because they get some openings in other regions for their European sales. And Qatar wants to run this pipeline up north, but then Assad is like, yeah, I got boned here. I don't want this. And then all of a sudden there's the bait and switch, like, you've got to go. It seems that simple to me, actually. Because why else would we give Iran this huge Benny? Just go ahead
we have to also incorporate into this logic, which is probably what it is, the use of gold versus petrodollars.
Yes.
Because if everything's not done in petrodollars, then the whole world system falls apart.
Then it makes no sense, right? We ruin the whole idea.
And every once in a while tries to bypass. They try to, let's barter for the oil. Let's use gold for the oil. I got a good idea. Let's have a new currency. Let's use yuan for the oil.
And I think that's where Erdogan messed up. I think because he had some secret stuff going on, selling for gold.
Yeah, he was doing a gold deal.
Yeah, and I think that
petrodollars, and so he's on the blacklist now.
Yeah. Let's see. Turkey to collapse. Germany in recession. Macron 40 drops 40. But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. I think it's true economic hitman style. He has to. I think Erdogan has to go. And this Gulenis guy, I think it's probably mutually assured destruction somehow, that the CIA use him, but he uses the CIA, so he has his mission, which is,
take over.
Ottoman Empire. The Empire Strikes Back 3.
Well, he looks like one of the types. He looks exactly like one of the guys who loves the old idea of the old caliphate, the Ottoman Empire, and he would clamp down a little more than Erdogan. Erdogan, even though he is an Islamist, never really put the screws to the public, like they did in
the good old days.
Iran, where you have, everyone has to wear the scarf and all the rest of it.
Right. Well, one side of the river. But then, here's the when the economic hitmen coming in. So I don't know if the Jackals are in yet, but there's a new group I found.
What do you think all these rioters are all about? The Jackals have long since been in there.
No, but I mean Jackals. They really got to kill somebody.
Kill somebody?
Yeah, they got to kill some
Erdogan?
people. No, here's a new group that I found who are now active in Turkey and in Ukraine. Freedom House. You got to love this name. This is another one of my favorites. Freedom House. Go to freedomhouse.org and you can find out about their leadership. A little organization, this Freedom House. They've got about $45 million they brought in this year. So, that's just a small nonprofit. Let's see. William Taft is the chair.
Freedom House. FreedomHouse.what?
.org.
Okay.
FreedomHouse.org. Their board of trustees, William H. Taft.
Nice slick little site.
Look at this list, man. Look at this list.
Where are you getting the names?
If you go to on the About Us.
Oh, there it is.
About Us, our leadership. Freedom House is led by David J. Kramer. The daily work of the organization is conducted by its approximately 150 staff members in Washington, New York, and field offices around the world. They have a field office in Ukraine and Kiev. Let me read from the let me read from the Freedom House. What a great name. Welcome to the House of Freedom. Freedom House.
Taft the Fourth. That's weird.
Freedom House, Form 990. This is what they file with the IRS, which very few journalists read.
None do.
But here you can see current year, they brought in $45,392,369. $40 million of that from government grants.
Nice grants.
Briefly describe the organization's mission. Freedom House, an independent, non-governmental organization, that's what NGO stands for, supports the expansion of freedom in the world. Who wouldn't want to support the expansion of freedom? Freedom is possible only, I tell you, in democratic political systems in which the governments are accountable to their own people. The rule of law, I'm here in Hague talking right now, the rule of law prevails, and freedoms of expression, association, and belief, as well as the respect of the rights of minorities and women, are guaranteed. Freedom ultimately depends on the actions of committed and courageous men and women. Here it is. We support nonviolent civic initiatives in societies where freedom is denied under threat, and we stand in opposition to ideas and forces that challenge the right of all people to be free. Freedom House functions as a catalyst for freedom, democracy, and the rule of law through its analysis, advocacy, and action. And then here, I wanted to read, let me mark this up, that they actually, I got to get the next segment here. This is a big one. This is like 50 pages of this 990. It's kind of interesting what they've got going on here.
Well, with that kind of money, you don't want to take any chances of losing it.
No, but they literally state that they support action groups on the ground. That is part of their mission, so it would only make sense.
I'm going through what you're talking about.
Yes, I know exactly.
And
what
so
you're doing.
I'm finding a lot of Institute of Peace people, Council on Foreign Relations, drug companies, surprisingly enough.
Well, that's what, of course. Got to hand out some of that, the amphetamines to the terrorists. And boner pills and whatever else to make war work. These are very, 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 very sketchy organizations, in my book.
No, they are. It's just a front. You know, it's not. I'm looking at these things just to determine whether this is like a think tank front, which is usually just a contractor that does reports so people can make the right decisions down the road.
Well, they're, just so you know, they're taking in $45 million, and they are flushing out $41 million. So there's a zero-sum game. The money comes in, they send it off to Europe, including Iceland and Greenland. They send it off to Sub-Sahara.
This has got to be a bagman operation.
Yeah, and then they save just enough for their salaries for the, and they're in Alexandria, Virginia. Hello. Yeah, that's where I live.
Alexandria, Virginia.
Yeah, national.
Nice town, by the way.
Let's see. Grants. Let's see what they got here. National Democratic Institute for International Affairs. They gave some money. The Free Society Project. African Center for Justice and Peace Studies. International Center for Not-for-Profit Law. Community Initiatives. Yeah.
You could be looking at those forms forever.
Yeah.
It's just a huge, it's a web of deceit.
It truly is. Well, deceit, I mean, it's not even dishonest. Well,
no,
maybe
it's not dishonest, but it's
deceitful. Yeah.
It's what it's supposed to be doing when it's just a bagman operation, taking money from the taxpayers of the United States, and then giving it to some organization, and so they can do something screwy. Well, it's always in the American interest, but some of it is pretty. Much of it's misguided. I think that's the problem.
So they put out a report, and their report here, a recent report by U.S. think tank Freedom House says heavy-handed police crackdowns on Gezi Park protests are conflicting with the freedoms of association and assembly. So essentially, they just make the government look bad. You look bad. It's just like Human Rights Watch. Human Rights Watch also came. This is all State Department stuff. Human Rights Watch is run by a former State Department official, and they just came out with their report last week and said, it's human rights being violated, and then it's time to go in. But it will be interesting to see what happens with Syria and Assad.
Did you see Kerry talking about this?
Yeah. No,
I don't think I have a clip. I was thinking about it.
It was, unfortunately, unlike Hillary Clinton, he is so boring. He's so boring. But it was that. Well, we talked about it briefly because of the Qatari finance report, which said, these are real pictures of real dead people. We don't really know who killed them, but it looks like they were starved, and starvation, which is a war crime, is what Kerry said. Take him to the International Criminal Court. Off with his head. Anyway.
Essentially, we're going to have negotiations, but here's what has to come out of the negotiations.
And Ukraine, I think, is similar. And Freedom House is in Ukraine as well, also talking about the problems there. And maybe, we couldn't even get that one to work out. That actually shows a weakness of John Kerry and, I think it was Victoria Nuland's gig. That's why she was there. She's the deputy, and her I think the mission was like this. Victoria, I got to get this Assad guy out because we got to get a Qatari pipeline up through there up to Turkey. I just don't have the bandwidth. Victoria, can you please do this? Can you just get Ukraine to sign on with the EU? Take the no chin, no neck monster. What's her name? High priestess. Yes, Kathy. Yes, Kathy, the Dame Kathy, what's her name? Take her, go there and make it happen. And she failed.
Yeah, she gave away cookies.
Pretzels. Have you seen some of these guys in the pictures in Kiev? They're armed to the teeth.
Yeah,
these aren't our guys. I think whoever.
Well, there's this word, the new word that we have to start paying attention to, which maybe you don't know what these guys are, but they're called Tutushkis.
Tutushkis?
Yeah, I first heard the term in this report, which I have, and then I started doing some research on it.
Whether there were Tutushki in the crowds, so hooligans allegedly sponsored by the government to try and discredit the movement.
Yeah, are these what they're being called neo-Nazis?
That could be. The Tutushki is I've never heard this term before, but the Russians always have these great terms like apparatchik.
Yeah, right.
But
exactly.
Tutushki is a guy, it's a good term because it does describe something that we see a lot, and it happened with the Occupy movement, where the cops put in their guys to create a riot, and then you beat everybody up except the guys who started the riot because they're cops. Those are Tutushkis.
Tutushkis. So they're agents provocateurs.
Yeah, that would be, which nobody can pronounce. So the Tutushki
is easier to say than agent. I like agent provocateur.
Yeah.
I am an agent provocateur du podcast. All right.
Anyway, I think, this is all this is all rubble is happening. It's left and right. It's going on everywhere, and we seem to be relishing starting as many of these as possible. There's one I don't think anyone even knows about yet in this country, which is what's going. I mean, we know about Thailand's all hell's breaking loose because of the crazy ruler there, but Vietnam. And then I listened to this report, and then when you listen to this report, you realize that we're just you can see who's giving it to who. When you listen to this, what's going on in Vietnam.
About 200 Vietnamese gathered in a square in Hanoi for a protest against China. They say the Spratly and Paracel Islands belong to Vietnam. Vietnamese and Chinese naval vessels fought a brief battle for the islands in January of 1974. China got the upper hand and has controlled them for 40 years. Police interrupted the demonstration when the marchers began moving toward the Chinese embassy. That intervention suggests the Vietnamese government is concerned about its already strained relations with China getting worse.
Yeah, you think?
Gee, I wonder who's behind this. And they got the island meme.
Yeah.
I love that island meme.
Is this the same islands or these new islands?
No, these are new islands. These are Vietnamese islands.
We should just be pissed off about all islands. Every single
Vietnamese,
island.
apparently, during the Vietnam War, which is supported largely by China, and North Vietnam, of course, they had these islands, and then during the process, I guess, of the Vietnam War winding down, the Chinese took the islands from the Vietnamese, probably as payment for helping them.
Right.
I'm sure there was something like that. And so they ended up with the islands, and now 40 years later, somebody has stirred the Vietnamese public up, only with a small demonstration, but I'm guaranteeing this is going to grow.
Yeah,
because we're doing it. We're amazing, and I hate to use that word, but in this case, I have to.
Is that? Let me just see. Is there a report on Freedom House about that as well? I'm thinking Freedom House are my new guys.
Maybe they may be the go-to guys, but I believe this is more distributed than just one or two companies.
But they're pretty. But this Freedom outfit, just the name by itself is so groovy. Freedom House. We believe in freedom of all people. Sure you do.
Can't go wrong with that.
Sure you do.
Sounds good.
Oh, before I think we should do our quick little thank, and we got to hop into the club. Yeah. I got an email from Rich, producer Rich, and he really called us out. And this is the kind of thinking that I love so much. You know, John and I just, we try to do this on the show. We try to, put our heads together, come up with some critical thoughts about things, about situations, and we use maps. Rich called us. I said, on Thursday's show, you pointed out there are more weed dispensaries than Starbucks in Denver. He says, I'm calling BS on that. Not because it's not true, because it's not a fair comparison. A more fair comparison would be there are more dispensaries than coffee shops, or there are more Jimmy's pot shops than Starbucks. Good point, right? Jeez, how stupid are we that we didn't even catch that ourselves?
Yeah, we're giving this as a Starbucks commercial.
Oh, my God.
This is a meme obviously planted by Starbucks.
And we are so dumb.
It's got nothing to do with pot dispensaries. No. It's just a plug for Starbucks. Right.
And indeed, it would have been more fair to say there are more dispensaries than coffee shops, but that, of course, is not true.
See, this is one of the things that I'm glad we have producers that catch us when we miss obvious bullcrap promotions.
Yes.
And what we have to do, I think, is just be more aware that any time a brand name is brought up, to be suspicious.
We do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's because, that's exactly right. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we've got that straightened out.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
I have a short list today, so let's go through a few of the people to thank. Ron H. Williams, beginning with him in Scotts Valley, California, 12345. No comment. Oscar Nadal in Tijuana, Baja, California. Sir Oscar. And he wants 111.11. Then he wants his two ex-wives to the stage for some girl-on-girl action.
Hey, are we doing this now, or what do you want to do?
No, I'm not going to do it this second. We'll do it at the end here.
Okay.
Angelica. Okay, wait a minute. I don't have her on the girl. I don't have them on girl for girl.
Can we get them to do some girl-on-girl?
I have a girl-on-girl script, but I was giving it to the two ex-wives from a couple of shows ago. Stage two girl.
Well, we could.
I can change. I can do it.
How about have the ex-wife swap with the other ex-wives?
No, I just changed this.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to move Emma to here and then move.
We need do we need an org chart for the club so we know where everybody is?
There. Angelica and Laura go to the girl-on-girl stage, which is stage 2, as a matter of fact.
Yes, of course. It's where the best girl-on-girl takes place.
And Emma, what was it? Emma, the other one? Oh, Aiko. I got to get Aiko. What was this? Angelica and Laura. Aiko. Aiko goes to stage 3.
Okay.
By the way, so I'm looking at my LinkedIn, and the guy who owns that club in London, which is called, I think it's called Platinum Lace.
Oh, nice.
So I'm now linked to him on LinkedIn.
Sexy name.
I can see going. And I looked up the website,
mm-hmm.
and you look at the web. You've been to a strip club or two, I'm sure, just casually.
I'm reliably informed what they look like, yes.
This looks just like every one of them. They all have this exact same look, and I can't tell you can't really describe it, except for the giant, massive clubs that were specially designed, like the Gold Club in Atlanta, which was a huge auditorium.
Wait, no, Cheetah's.
Cheetah's was a smaller place than the Gold Club. The Gold Club was at least 3 times bigger than any place I've ever seen in my life.
Have you ever been to Stringfellows? In London?
Where's that?
London? Well, it started in London.
No, I've never been to a strip club in London, ever.
Well, my friend Michelle has several.
I don't even like the strip clubs in New York because I think they're.
But in London, they take all their clothes off in London.
Oh, they take all their clothes off
completely
in Georgia.
Oh, really?
Same in Georgia.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So I'm sitting. Okay, then I get my story out. So a friend of mine who will remain nameless lives in New York City. He's a writer, and he's kind of a lonely alcoholic, and all he does is go to strip clubs. And he says, let's go to some strip clubs. I said, I'm not that interested. Come on. He says, I know all the girls. He knows all the girls. So we go from strip club to strip club as he's getting plastered. And it's like everybody comes up to him. All these girls that he knows, because I guess he's, generous over time. Yeah. So at the end, we're at that one Scores or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, God. Scores is horrific.
It's horrible. So it's closing. The place is closed, but we sit at a table because we're part of the owner knows us, or somebody knows, not me, but Charlie. And so we sit down with some cute girl who's sitting there with him, who's a friend, and she says, she says, I got to get out of this place. And she's tearing off her pasties, and she's sitting there naked. And she says, I got to get out of here. And I, being the bon vivant, say, well, you should go down to Georgia. And she says, as she's sitting there stark naked with the pasty, she says, oh, I could never dance in Georgia. They're naked. In the morning. I swear that's a true story.
Yeah.
I was just beside myself.
I believe you. Okay. Onward, John. Yeah. Onward.
Okay, here we go. Where was I?
I think we were at Thomas.
We're talking about Laura.
We're at Thomas.
Thomas 4 in Houston, Texas, $100. Drunken Yak Inc., Osceola, Indiana, $100. Please use the name Drunken Yak Inc. That's what we got. Sir Thomas Nussbaum in Virginia Beach.
Oh, and he becomes a baronet.
It's a baronet
today. Oh, no.
What?
69, dude.
One lone one. Dame Beth Barazin in Tucson. And she says, yeah, she requests some fuck vertigo karma for my.
Yeah, Heil, boys. Dame Beth. Let me give her something. She had maternal unit karma. She actually sent me an email about this.
You've got karma.
Wasn't there someone who wanted me to? Yeah, I got it here. Never mind. I got it here. I'm ready.
Shauna Nash.
Wait, can I just hold on? Can I just point out there was one
69. Yeah,
that was
sucks.
it. Yeah.
And whatever happened to our 69 girl from Germany?
I don't know.
Anyway, Shauna Nash, Keene, New Hampshire, 5860. Jay Shea, who is our lawyer, who's in the is a
right. He's the prosecutor. And he asked for the. Oh, this is what I had. He asked for the Hillary clip.
Okay, 5860. He's in Brewston Mills, WV. He promised after sending a note, blah, blah, blah. He needs a de-douching. We'll give him that for the note. And then you can play the clip if you want.
It's the one that he sent in.
You've been de-douched.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Each year on my birthday, every American gets a cupcake.
Yes, my master.
That was the clip that he sent in. So.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen, too, by the way.
Everyone gets a cupcake.
Yeah, we get a cupcake on Hillary's birthday. Sir Dr. Sharkey, 5860 in Jackson, Tennessee. Jimmy in Breda, Netherlands, 5860. What's the 5860 thing?
I don't know. There must be.
He says he's a charter. Both of them are charter members. Oh, they're doing it for show 5686.
Oh, duh.
Curiously, they both did it at the same time, which is weird. Jonathan Rose, 5432, and Netanya Israel, or Netanya. Would be more like it, I think. David Grisanti in Denver, Colorado, 5280. Daniel Rogers in L.A., Los Angeles, 5150. And then finally, $50 donations each from Jason Gossin in Richmond, B.C., Arnold Laviere in France.
What? Hello, stop the bus. Bonjour. Lonely,
that's unusual.
Lonely man. Arnold Laviere. Where is Cournonterral? Where is that?
Why don't you run it on the Book of Knowledge and find out where it is in France?
I'm going to run a trace.
Run a trace. Marcus Kazmarek in Kenai, Alaska. Is that AK, Alaska, or Arkansas?
I think, I don't know.
I think that's AR is Arkansas, I thought. Alaska, it's not. And AL is Alabama. Okay, must be Alaska. Shad Rich in Seattle, Washington. Jason Daniels, $50 from Parts Unknown. And finally, James Bronzek in Plains, Pennsylvania. And good old Kyle Bauer from Parts Unknown, $50.
This is in southern France.
Ooh, nice.
Cournonterral.
And what part of southern France? Is it toward Nice?
It is, yeah, actually it is. It's right, wow, it's in a beautiful spot. It's it's in the Montpellier.
Oh, yeah, that's gorgeous in that area.
It's the Languedoc-Roussillon region is nice.
He's got a French name, so he's probably French and not an expat.
Yeah, I'm thinking road trip. Nice.
What guy?
Yeah, we got a guy.
All friends we got.
Well, that proves that not all French are stingy, cheap bastards.
No, that moniker goes back to India.
Wow.
We have no Indian donors today, and they all speak English. So go figure. And we want to thank these folks and also the people who donate lesser amounts. Any amount really helps us quite a bit. For show 586, got 587 coming up on Thursday. Hopefully, we'll pick it up a little bit. Thursday show.
And we'll be doing a newsletter on Wednesday, I presume. And in the newsletter on Wednesday, it's already final, but we decided to launch it in the Wednesday newsletter. We'll have the Russian gay law white paper.
Yeah, so you guys can pull that out, print it out, and then get into an argument at a bar, and then keep it in the back pocket.
And get beat up.
And then throw it down.
Smack it down.
If it's a gay bar, even better. Read this.
Exactly.
And then you won't get beat up. People are going to get mad at the media for lying to them.
It's have you seen it yet? I've sent you several copies.
Yes, I'm starting to look at it now.
Yeah, we got a pretty good executive summary in there. It makes you go, what? What? I didn't know that. What? It's really good.
We need to do this more often, actually.
What a process. And quite honestly, you and I didn't do anything. I just want to remind you, Brian did all the work.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that,
we didn't do anything.
White papers are great.
Yeah. But regardless, all the work, and work did go into that, of course, but also all the other work that we do, it only can happen if you support us, and we're going to need a better showing than today.
Dvorak.org
please
/NA.
Well, it's real short, just like the donation list. James Pyre says happy birthday to his youngest daughter, Serafina, celebrating her birthday. And we say happy birthday, Serafina, from all your friends here at the best podcast in the universe. It's your birthday, yeah. And we congratulate Sir Thomas Nussbaum, who is baronet as of today, and on his way to a barony. And, of course, he'll probably be getting a protectorate there on the East Coast. We look forward to that. And we have one knighting, which is beautiful. So if we can get your sword.
Yeah, hold on. There.
Okay. Dougwin J. Goins, step forward, my friend. You are about to enter the illustrious club of the Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. Very, very happy to welcome you. So please step forward. Kneel as I hereby pronounce thee Sir Thursday Night of the No Agenda Roundtable for you. Cuban cigars and single malt scotch, Cabinets and Cabernet, hot librarians and Jaeger bombs, opium and warm orange juice. Hookers and blow, geishas, and a bucket of fried chicken, Renboys and Chardonnay if you swing that way. Long-haired heavy metal guys and scotch, maybe vodka and bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, mutton and mead, or just the honor of knowing that you have an entire community of people who support the best podcasting universe at this level. And go to noagendanation.com/rings to pick up your well-deserved night ring. And Eric the Shield will get that out to you ASAP.
So we can do the event here. I have to say that I tried to get a hold of Tanya Wyman in New York. Has somebody she wants to bring up. We're going to have to put it off because I can't get a hold of her.
Okay.
Wait a minute. No, she's here. Hold on. Let me click on the email.
I'm thinking, should I do a different reverb for you? Keep talking.
Well, let me say a couple things. Okay, I'm going to give her the best one at the end. This is Lady Nina. Okay, so I listened to the last one. I couldn't hear the music. I didn't hear any reverb whatsoever. I just heard myself being distorting. And
I keep telling you, you're going too close to the microphone. I've put on a different reverb.
I'm going to pull back. I'm going to do it from here. Just going to yell a little bit, but I'm not going to be up against the mic, so it won't be just a mess. But I need more. The reverb. I didn't hear it. What I'm looking for is Mexican radio.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Give me a little level.
Okay. Coming to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the biggest night in the nightclub in the world. Blah, blah, blah. That's going to be like that, okay?
Hold on. One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the biggest nightclub in the world, your Club 33.
I think this is pretty good. We can do one more. Let me just check this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Just try one. Just one more. I just want to
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the biggest nightclub in the world, your Club 33, where all the ladies are beautiful.
Yeah, I think this is the right. We got the right stuff here. I think we should just hit it. Hit it.
Gentlemen, welcome to the biggest nightclub in the world, your Club 33, where all the ladies are beautiful and all the men are drunk. So let's get ready for a night of hot dancers, hot waitresses, looking for a different kind of tip and great music. To begin tonight's festivities by loading up the 10 multi-level stages and surround everyone with unmatched beauty on the main stage, we have Luscious Vixen and our #1 vote getter in the Miss Naked Orlando online competition. She loves dogs, drag racing, and heavy breathing. Give it up for Emma. Hey, welcome to two cuties. For girl-on-girl action, Angelina and Laura. Dancing on the new impossible-to-climb grease pole. We've got Angelina and Laura, also known as kittens, because you'll be smittens. Stage 3. Bring out your applause for Aiko. Part-time pizza makers at the round table where she knows how to throw dough. Mint, give her some of yours. Aiko. Stage 4. 2012's #1 online page views in the Club 33 website. She's a cutie. She's pretty. She's feisty. She's Michelle. Look up, because Stage 5 is opening up and exploding with charisma as Yolanda Anaconda takes the stage. It's Daytona Beach. She's never been arrested, but she's clearly doing something illegal.
Just like a stripper.
Anaconda. There's a crowd gathering around Stage 6, and you may know the reason why. Lady Nina. This is Miss Florida from 2010, doing what she does best, entertaining the boys. It's Lady Nina, part-time stockbroker. She brings a new meaning to the term bump and dump. Give it up for Lady Nina. Give it up for all the little hotties out there, and remember, everybody, no touching.
Is that it?
Touching.
Oh, touching is out? I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. My cue. I'm sorry.
Rocky.
What?
That was Rocky.
That was totally Rocky.
Well, that's because I had all these names switched around and it was confusing.
I mean, you only take a month to get it together, and then you still...
Right, I know, but I don't... What my problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is just for the technical...
Please.
I do not write it up as a proper script.
You're ad-libbing?
All caps, and it should be double-spaced, and it should be... And that way I can make changes without making a mess. This is like from a book output. It's bad. It's very unprofessional of me.
Yeah, kind of.
Anyway, oh well, I got him in. If anybody was missing from that, let me know.
I did like the pump and dump. That was a good line.
Yeah, I thought so.
I read the PCLOB report of the Privacy Civil Liberties Oversight Board. Now, you'll recall, you know what this is, right? This Privacy Civil Liberties Oversight Board?
This is a board that works within the NSA. Is that one?
Well, this is a presidentially appointed, Senate-confirmed...
Yeah. My understanding is this has been sitting in abeyance with nobody running it in charge for the last 3 or 4 years.
No, that's not true, because if you'll recall the president's speech where he was interrupted by the Code Pink lady in May, when he said, before Snowden happened, where he said, we want a private, we need to really get this private, Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board, we got to get that shored up.
Because you didn't have anybody in it.
Yeah, so we got people in it, and they released a report on Friday, and this is the results according to the medias.
The NSA's chief says if they'd had their current program of collecting bulk phone call records in place then,
we would have known about the plot.
But a privacy watchdog board appointed by the government now rejects that.
The information was available. The agencies just weren't sharing it.
And the board says that controversial NSA program revealed by leaker Edward Snowden should not exist.
Is unlawful in the majority of the board's view and should be shut down after a short transition period.
The board says the Patriot Act doesn't give legal authority to collect phone records in bulk, as the White House argued, and says the program is a huge invasion of Americans' privacy. It's a harsh rebuke of President Obama's stance on intelligence gathering. In the wake of the report, the White House is again defending the phone records gathering program as legal and effective.
We simply disagree with the board's analysis on the legality of the program.
This is very interesting. And of course, I've highlighted some bits in this report. And I already see the chat room mistakenly. This is not the NSA recommendation board that included all the shills.
Oh yeah, no, that's different.
This is a true confirmed by Senate, but appointed by the president. And when you read what's actually in the report, it's quite damning. But apparently this just makes no difference.
President Obama has announced plans to take the phone data collection program away from the NSA.
Yeah, that is not what the president has done. That is a factual error, or at least perhaps a lie in the reporting. He has thrown it back to Congress and said Congress has to figure out if we're going to have the data stored at the in one of 3 options. So he has not done. He has actually taken the pussy way out and thrown it back to Congress. So it'll just float around for a little longer
and give it stricter oversight, but not to end it. The Obama team says the phone surveillance program did help disrupt one terror plot, the 2009 effort led by Najibullah Zazi to blow up part of the New York subway.
Now this is very interesting.
Well, this is bullcrap.
Well, listen to what the guy who's talking, by the way, from the board is the leader of the board, is the David Medine.
But this board says the NSA's phone record surveillance, which the board chair calls the 215 program, played a minimal role in that case.
215 only played a role after Mr. Zazi had given up on his plot, returned to Colorado, and had helped find one of his co-conspirators.
That's very well explained. For the first time, I've actually heard someone say it just the way it is.
Yeah, no.
Do anything.
Well, I think
there's a little more. There's a little more. But not to that degree where literally the guy had already given up his plot. That was completely useless.
Peter King of the House Homeland Security Committee disagrees.
But it's not just the actual threat that you stop. What this does, it's part of a mosaic. It fills in blanks.
It fills in blanks. It's part of a mosaic.
It leads authorities one way or the other.
King says this board is, quote, outside its lane. Says he doesn't know what qualified these 5 people to decide what's legal and constitutional.
Let me think. They're outside of that. Who says, what qualifies them, these douchebags?
When almost all judges' rulings have said the phone surveillance program is legal. Board Chair David Medine responded by saying that they were nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate, and they're all lawyers.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of, that would make them qualified.
Peter King is a douchebag.
Yeah, in fact, I got a
douchebag.
Let us just briefly read from the board's chairman, was confirmed on May 7th, 2013. I told you this is right around when this is right. It's as if it was orchestrated. Just before sworn in May, it's actually in the report, sworn in on May 29th, 5 days before news stories based upon the NSA leaks began to appear. Wow. Whew, right on time, baby. While this report includes a number of detailed conclusions and recommendations, it does not purport to answer all questions. The board welcomes the opportunity for further dialogue with the executive branch and with Congress about the issues raised in this report.
So it came in just before. When was Snowden first out there? When did he first say something?
June, like June 4th.
Okay,
June 5th.
So then here's the way I'm looking at this. The intelligence. Just listen to this. The intelligence community knew about Snowden and what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They got the word out. They said this could be bad. It's almost like, remember when Rumsfeld brought out the Abu Ghraib pictures and then he said, God, there's worse pictures out there. It could happen. They don't expect the worst. Nothing happened. But to be on the safe side, I said, look, something's up with this guy. It's possible that it's going to be a huge embarrassment. We got to shore up this and that. And this particular subcommittee or sub-agency of the NSA and the intelligence world there was nobody in it. It was empty. It was empty ever since Obama became president. He never did anything, didn't give a crap.
Right.
So they did a rush job to load it up. They got some guys with great creds, probably more qualified than usual. They left out the normal stooges, and they put together a group that was actually going to do it.
Yeah, I'm dinging you. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happened.
By accident.
You know why? Because they were all focused on the Free Flow of Information Act, i.e. the licensing of journalists, which was the president announced at the same time. They really needed to shore that up. And I think you're spot on, John. They made a mistake, got some guys in, and they did their job.
Yeah, which is weird.
There are 4 grounds upon which we find that the telephone records program fails to comply with Section 215. First, the telephone records acquired under the program have no connection to any specific FBI investigation at the time of their collection, which would be the appropriate agency. Second, because the records are collected in bulk, potentially encompassing all telephone calling records across the nation, they cannot be regarded as relevant to any FBI investigation, as required by the statute, without redefining the word relevant in a manner that is circular, unlimited in scope, and out of step with the case law from analogous legal contexts involving the production of records. Third, the program operates by putting telephone companies under an obligation to furnish new calling records on a daily basis as they are generated, instead of turning over records already in their possession, an approach lacking foundation in the statute and one that is inconsistent with the FISA as a whole. Fourth, the statute permits only the FBI to obtain items for use in its investigations, does not authorize the NSA to collect anything. In addition, we conclude that the program violates the Electronic Communications Privacy Act. The statute prohibits telephone companies from sharing customer records with the government except in response to specific enumerated circumstances which do not include Section 215 orders. Finally, we do not agree that the program can be considered statutorily authorized because this is interesting, because Congress twice delayed the expiration of Section 215 during the operation of the program without amending the statute. The reenactment doctrine, under which Congress is presumed to have adopted settled administrative or judicial interpretations of a statute, does not trump the plain meaning of a law and cannot save an administrative or judicial interpretation that contradicts the statute itself. Yeah, no, these guys aren't qualified.
Yeah, these guys they're obvious idiots.
They have no idea what they're talking about. Hey, Peter King, have you tried reading this? It's a 256-page report. It's quite damning. And of course,
the best thing you do is read the back of a Jim Beam bottle.
But some interesting things have happened. So first of all, this is to me an outrage that the president who touted this Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board as the blue ribbon panel who would be protecting our privacy and civil liberties and our freedoms and our rights and whatever else, that they're dismissed as just dismissed. You heard Jay Carney, spokeshole. We just don't agree. Oh, okay. Shut up. Shut up, slave. Now, what is happening? We have Holder. Now, first, the president did an interview. Well, it's not even an interview. He spoke with New Yorker magazine. I don't know if you had a chance to read this interview, John.
No.
Hagiography, more or less. But completely scripted from beginning to end. This includes the president saying marijuana is not more dangerous than alcohol, but it also opens the door for Edward Snowden to return. And now you can see the setup coming to fruition. I believe he will come back. I believe he's going to be given a deal. And Holder is signaling this, and as are others. But let's listen to Holder first. This is the Attorney General, the highest man in law enforcement and the judiciary in the United States.
Now, also in the New Yorker interview, when the president was asked about potential deals or clemency for Edward Snowden, which is something some NSA officials have said should be on the table, he said it's not a yes-no issue. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that a deal of some kind could still be possible for Mr. Snowden?
Well, he's a person who will be charged with a variety of crimes when he has legal representation, and if those lawyers want to talk about a resolution of the case, we would obviously engage in those conversations.
But that means it's not, you haven't ruled it out.
The notion of clemency, a simple, no harm, no foul, I think that would be going too far. But in the resolution of this matter, with an acceptance of responsibility, we would always, engage in those kinds of conversations.
An acceptance of responsibility. Well. I'd say that's lawyer speak for we're open to a deal.
No, that whole commentary there was a deal commentary. Everything except he's not going to get a clemency, a pardon, or anything.
No, they can't. Nature. They can't do that.
No, they can't. But they could do. So let's think about this for a second before we go on with this and decide and kind of predict what. First of all, Snowden's counter to this was, "I will not get a fair trial in the United States."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he said in the interviews. Somebody interviewed him. So we have these interviews, dueling interviews.
And by the way, he's now doing online chats with Jake Tapper of CNN. Come on. I mean, all of a sudden, he's doing IMAs. He's all over the place. There's a huge Snowden push right now.
So we're working on this deal thing, which is exactly what's going on. They're going to do something. And he won't get a fair trial. So there has to be, so it's going to be a deal. And it's not. So there's not going to be a trial. We can just put that on the red book. As far as I'm concerned, there will be no trial. There will be a deal.
Yes.
And the deal will happen before he comes back, and it will be all signed off and everything. So because he's paranoid, which he should be. Now, what will be the deal? That's what we should be able to figure out.
Well, before we do that, Mike Morell. Who now has a gig, by the way. This was the number 2 guy in the CIA.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he's on the other panel that made the recommendations, which were the Shill. He's on the Shill panel. He now works for CBS, by the way. Did you know this?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. How convenient.
He works for CBS, and he gave us I think he's giving us part of the puzzle by slipping out why we need Snowden to come back.
Well, we put the question to one of the people who know the most about the case, Mike Morell. Until last year, he was deputy director at the CIA. He also served on the president's task force on surveillance. Morell is now senior security contributor for CBS News.
Senior surveillance contributor for CBS News.
Security, yes.
There is no evidence of that, Scott. My own thinking...
the question is he a spy? Is he a Russian spy? That is the question. But the answer, I think, leads us into why we have to bring him back, or what the reasoning will be.
Is that what Ed Snowden did was steal the material on his own, get out of the country on his own. My questions about his work with Chinese and Russian intelligence begin once he arrives in Hong Kong and then when he moved on to Moscow.
What do we know about what happened in Hong Kong?
Well, there were a couple of incidents in Hong Kong that I really can't get into. But those incidents really raised some questions about whether or not he had contact with Russian intelligence.
Does U.S. intelligence have a good appraisal today of what Snowden took in its entirety?
So we don't know what he took. We know what he had access to. My understanding is that the government is still trying to put together exactly what he walked away with. I think about it in three buckets. One bucket is what he actually had on computers and hard drives that he showed up in Hong Kong with. Clearly, that information has been compromised. The second bucket is what he has already turned over to Mr. Greenwald. And then I assume that there is also a third bucket of information that Ed Snowden still controls and is probably somewhere in the cloud. Scott, one of my concerns is that if he is accessing that cloud in any way in Russia, Russian intelligence is clearly watching him do that, and they only need to see him do it once to be able to do it themselves.
Aha! We need to help him so he doesn't access the data in the cloud.
All right, this opens up a whole bunch of possibilities.
Speaketh.
Well, one, of course, is that that he is working for the CIA, and this is a CIA guy, and he's part of the program to get Snowden back as part of their deal.
Yep.
Because Snowden is obviously a Tatushki.
Yes, a Tatushki.
And he is over there, and there may or may not be something in the cloud. There's never
but it's
been
irrelevant.
any discussion.
It doesn't even matter what's in the cloud.
No, it might matter because it may be stuff that the CIA has purposely planted.
Good.
And Snowden will go out of his way not to access this, but he will, and so he'll make it look. He'll go through all kinds of things, but the Russians will follow every keystroke, and they'll get it.
Yes, comrade. We have what Snowden had. It is very interesting.
And so the information could be a bunch of bogus stuff. I believe personally, based on the way this whole thing is coming, and we followed it as closely as anybody, as far as I can tell. He grabbed a bunch of shit, put it on his laptop, ran off with it. The stuff that he thought was mostly PowerPoints, probably a file that has the name PPT, and he grabbed this stuff, and then and according to everybody, he gave it all to Greenwald, your buddy, and Poitras, and he doesn't have anything else, and that's what he says. This other stuff is all fictional, and the three buckets. Come on.
Yeah.
And that's probably
buckets.
code for something, too.
Well,
and then using the cloud, there's no way Snowden's got anything in the cloud, but as part of this scheme,
bucket could refer to an Amazon S3 bucket, which is a storage bucket.
Could be.
Which, by the way, with the CIA has, they use Amazon. They use Amazon. Well, we do know that Snowden was a CIA contractor before he was an NSA contractor.
And he still carries ID.
CIA ID.
Yes.
CIA ID. CIA-IO ID. I think there's going to be a deal. He's going to come back. It will be a bonanza for the media because they love this. Oh my God. They're creaming. In fact, they're calling the White House now. Yes.
Bonanza for a number of speakers bureaus. Whoa. This guy will start at $50K.
Oh, that's just for picking up the phone.
Yeah, got no money?
Yeah.
Clinton gets $500,000, I think. I think Hillary gets
No, I think Clinton's $250. But you got to pay for the jet.
Yeah, right. Well, this guy's going to make literally millions of dollars on the speakers circuit. And it's all going to be disinformation because he's still working for the CIA.
Yeah, and Mike Morell, I mean, it doesn't seem like the typical career move to me to leave the agency after 33 years. And
what's it, 33 years?
Yeah. And to right away become a correspondent for CBS. That is not, I don't think that's the typical, you want to rest. Write your book.
No, he's still working. This is all part of his giant promotional scheme. This is very well done.
Yeah. He has not left the agency, really.
So what are they going to do? What do we think is going to happen?
Well, I think that there's going to be a deal. We need a catalyst for the deal. Someone has to be the hero. Someone has to make it happen. In this interview, in Holder's interview, I don't have that clip. He said something interesting. He says, when he ever gets representation, I'll be willing to talk.
Right. You did have that clip.
Oh, that was in there?
Yeah.
But we know that there's multiple people claiming to represent him, the least of which is the ACLU. So there's a lot of posturing. There's a lot of running around. We don't have the right players yet.
Okay, we're going to here's another one for the Red Book. I'm not going to put it in.
If he were alive, Robert Kardashian would have been the guy.
There's going to be a hotshot.
Yes.
Hotshot, superstar attorney that maybe, even one of those guys from NYU or something, some guys who are professors that are going to come in as a team because they're going to get lots of publicity for this, and they're all going to look great because they're going to be defending the Americans. And this is going to be a great sideshow. This could be massively interesting. But the deal still has to be done because he's not going to go to trial.
No. I'm down with that. The problem now, of course, is what are we going to do with Bradley, nay, Chelsea Manning?
Well, for one thing, this takes Manning out of the paper.
Yeah, damn, takes him away, right.
So Manning is going to eat crap on this deal. Manning's done.
Yeah.
This has to be over with first, and this will chew up, besides the next 6 months, if they do the deal, which I'm still trying to get your idea of what it would be. If they do that's another year because of all the media stuff. Manning is going to go way into the background, and Manning's actually more interesting.
I mean, the deal would just be he's just got to come back and he's got to surrender his stuff in the cloud. I mean,
right, which is not needed anyway because it's just to trick the Russians.
And then what it does effectively is it puts it's kind of like OJ,
There has to be some punishment.
No, I don't think so. It puts the focus on Snowden and the trial and not on what's really going on.
Well, there's not going to be a trial.
No, but on the negotiations, and there'll be all kinds of. It'll just be. Why wouldn't
I think he's got. This is a long shot because I know he doesn't want to do any of this. I think they're going to give him a prison term that he will accept, and I think it's going to be less than 6 months.
Yeah, or it'll be time served in exile or some bull crap like that.
If they can say, like living, which is this is actually very subtle, but if you say time served in exile, it is like a slight against the Russians, saying it's like you live in Russia, it's like being in prison. So it has like a nice message because we got this. We like these messages, and that's a good one because the Olympics and all.
And then how do we wrap up the whole privacy, liberty, freedoms debate?
We don't. We just now it becomes like a debate with him giving speeches, and nothing changes. Same old crap.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'm all in then.
Yeah. No, there ain't going to be anything improved. They're not going to stop grabbing all these phone records and the rest of it. It's a blackmailing operation. They don't stop. There's no reason to. Anyway, this is just fun. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
How people don't love this show of ours is beyond me.
New York police chief charged with possessing child pornography.
That's always the way to go.
Do you recall when there were like 500 government computers in the Pentagon that all had child porn on?
Yeah.
I read an interesting. Well, I read an interesting theory about that. The reason why, because of course you never heard anything about it. The reason why that was there is because those are all Tor nodes. I think it was A. Nolan who wrote about that. Yeah, because if you look at how you can find out who's using Tor, you need the exit nodes. You just need a hell of a lot of nodes, and you can start to track people when their packets exit out.
Right. It's believed by the intelligence community, computer guys, that if you have enough, you own a bunch of nodes, exit nodes, and you can watch, and you're eyeballing somebody because you think they're doing something crazy, and you just watch them. And then you see their packets go in, and then you try to, and a lot of packets are coming out every which way, but you look for identical packets coming out the other, or one of these nodes, and if you can identify it, then you got it. You got the guy. Exactly.
And so the idea is that there's so many nodes in the Pentagon that they also they have to have all this stuff on it, and they got to have desirable content on the other end, which includes all this pedo bear crap. I think it's an interesting theory. It's
totally illegal by law. What they did, they should arrest every one of those people.
Did you hear about Lamar Alexander's assistant?
No.
Oh.
Well, police are saying that they were called to the family residence this morning, and it was evident that Mr. Loskern had taken his own life. This comes on the heels of early December, Tamron. Mr. Loskern was charged with child pornography, both the distribution of it on the internet and through the U.S.
Now, this is the, I guess, the right-hand man, like chief of staff of Lamar Alexander. And a month ago, he was charged with possession and intent to distribute or distribution of child pornography. And now he suicided himself. But listen, this is, who was the, used to be Chip's predecessor who died? Russert. This is Tim Russert's kid. Doing this report.
Mail service. This came as a huge shock to a lot of folks in Washington because he was very well known. He was known as the chief of staff to Lamar Alexander, the Senate's number 3. He was also known as being one of the top Republican message men, and he had come up through the House of Representatives. He was also somebody, Tamron, from talking to folks before I came on your show, who was very well liked by both sides. Democratic operatives thought he was a nice guy, a smart guy, a guy they enjoyed being around. I saw him personally, a lot of Hill happy hours. Always seem to be...
We got to check out these Hill happy hours, John. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
There's probably a lot of Hill happy hours.
Very pleasant, one of the nicer aides you would meet. Hence why it was so shocking for a lot of folks what he was...
Not all.
...was charged with the severity of his crimes. And now this is just a really tragic, sad ending. I spoke to a close friend of his, Tamron, who told me, quote, "In a town that is often heartless, cruel, and tragic, this sets a new standard from every angle." And I think that's very, very true this morning, Tamron.
I'm very curious about what's going on here.
I'm very suspicious of this.
This is like, is House of Cards coming out with a new series yet? Because this would be a great preamble.
Soon.
This would be a great.
This guy House of Cards written
all over it, doesn't it? I mean, the guy. This is a top operative. This is a top guy in D.C.
Yeah, he's not going to kill himself.
And we know that when
the kitty porn thing is a planted thing.
Exactly.
Easy.
So what did he have? What is Lamar Alexander's? What is Lamar Alexander into that had to be silenced?
I don't know. Maybe he's the one collecting kitty porn. I doubt it, but there's something else going on. Or the blackmail schemes. Who knows? We're never going to find out. This is one of those things that's as soon as the story comes out, it's an immediate dead end. And unless there'll be a couple of ancillary people killed, the loose ends, just in case. Why take a chance? Some people that knew this guy are going to get killed too.
Yeah.
Was he married? Did he have?
Well, I have another 40 seconds of the report. I wonder. Maybe.
As mentioned, he was arrested last month by U.S. postal agents, Luke, on suspicion of possessing and attempting to distribute child pornography.
And in the video, you see postal inspector. The jackets, like the police jackets, postal inspector. I know you don't see those too often at a crime scene.
He was waiting for his trial to start on those charges. Have we heard from Senator Alexander's office yet?
Senator Alexander's office just said it was an absolutely tragedy, a tragic story from beginning to end, a very short statement. He was supposed to go to trial. I believe the next hearing was around February 10th, Tamron. But this closes what is surely going to be a sad chapter that'll be talked a lot for a long time in Washington amongst the specific group of sort of reporters and operatives.
Listen to what the kid is saying.
Reporters and operatives.
It'll be talked about for a long time amongst a specific group.
Mainly
play that again. Play that end of that again.
Yeah, I agree. Oops.
Hearing was around February 10th, Tamron. But this closes what is surely going to be a sad chapter that'll be talked a lot for a long time in Washington amongst the specific group of sort of reporters and operatives, mainly because of just how shocking and out of nowhere it all came. Right. I mean, just think the arrest happened on December 10th, a little over about a month later, and now Mr. Loskern is dead.
Yeah, it's so annoying right before the trial. I hate it when that happens. This is one of those two to the heads that we've got to figure out. But Lamar,
yeah, well, I don't think it's possible.
What was
these guys are going to? They get all the phone records from everybody. They know exactly what's going on. They know everyone he's talked to. They probably have his conversations. They know, and those people are going to be killed. Anyone who knows anything about whatever it is, it could have been, the guy's got toe fungus. We don't know what his hang-ups are. Whatever the case is, they're all going to you won't even be able to extract this from any sort of deconstruction until years from now when Alexander's arrested.
Wasn't there some controversy around Alexander at some point? Wasn't there something weird with him?
Besides his Star Trek deck?
No, that's Kaiser Alexander.
Yeah, there was something.
That's Kaiser Alexander, not Lamar.
I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my Alexanders. Yeah, Lamar.
Was there some gay thing with him, or am I mistaken?
Lamar Alexander. Let me see.
His wiki
Let
page.
Me just take a look.
His wiki page is huge. I don't have time to parse it all right now, but maybe the chat room remembers what there was. Something was going on with him. I really don't remember what it was, but he's been around for a long time. Very long time.
Oh, yeah, this guy. Yeah, right.
He took stuff.
He's 73. He was in the Secretary of Education for a while. What? Some of this is confusing.
Yeah, this is one of those wiki pages that's just no good. Okay. Well, you know what? No sense wasting time on it.
It's an Eagle Scout.
Hey, the BBC had an interesting take on problems with the...
This guy, hold on a second. He's an Eagle Scout of Phi Beta Kappa from Vanderbilt. This guy's no slouch.
No. He married Leslie Honey Bueller.
Well, that's a typical Tennessee name.
Bueller? She's from Texas.
Oh, well, the first part of that is a very typical Tennessee honey.
Can I move on?
It may not even be related to Lamar Alexander.
Oh, interesting. Could be something else, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. In Gitmo Nation East, the BBC, this report was sent to me by one of our producers over there. One of the most bizarre statements I've ever heard. If it would play.
There are more criminals in prison. And one theory, still a theory, after lead was removed from petrol, researchers noticed crime fell, perhaps because of the effect of exhaust fumes on the brain. Tom Simons, BBC News.
We actually played a similar clip to this about 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an old clip.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's not an old clip. It's an old theory.
An old story.
Old story. Yeah.
Somebody wrote a book about it, and they had all this the stats. And the stats look good, but crime is a cyclical thing anyway. I want to talk a little bit about Sochi.
Yes. Let me ask you a question about that. Do you have Olympic fever?
Oh, yeah.
I have Olympic fever. I really do.
Well, you have a fever, but it's not from the Olympics.
No, I have Olympic fever. I'm ready for Sochi.
So let's play a couple of clips of what we're doing, what the American government, I believe, and its public relations agency irked about the fact that we didn't get these Olympics, and we didn't get the next Olympics, and Russia got the Olympics. What we're doing to hurt sales. So let's start with the local report on the Olympics.
Okie dokie.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel is promising America's Olympians that the U.S. is ready to rescue them if there's a crisis in Sochi. Russian authorities have not requested help in securing the games just days away, but Hagel said yesterday the U.S. has made arrangements to extract citizens if necessary. The U.S. team has been warned not to wear red, white, and blue outside competition venues. The team and at least 5 others have received terrorist threat.
Because you might look like you're from France, from the
Russia.
Netherlands, or from Russia, or
Russia's red, white, and blue.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah, really. Everybody's red, white, and blue.
If someone said don't wear stars and stripes, okay, but no, don't wear red, white, and blue. All right.
So then I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. But then I saw the long form of this kind of scare report, which had a plug in it for some company that does this kind of a Blackwater clone. And by the way, in the next show, we have to talk about Blackwater guy, Prince, now working for the Chinese. We'll do that on Thursday.
Most deadly threats of the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics are heightening fears that terrorism could mar the games. Concern is so great that some athletes are actually hiring private security companies. Our cameras were allowed inside one high-tech aircraft ready to rescue Team USA.
It's the fleet of medical aircraft on standby if terrorists attack Team USA in Sochi. Here's Lisa Guerrero.
In the event terrorists strike, an elite crisis team made up of paramedics and former Navy SEALs is ready to sweep into action using a fleet of planes like this one in order to evacuate Americans.
The high-profile U.S. ski and snowboard teams, which include the Flying Tomato snowboarder Shaun White, 5-time Olympic skier Bodie Miller, and rising young stars like these, have hired the crisis response firm Global Rescue to make the extraordinary preparations. CEO Dan Richards gave us a tour of the fleet, which could airlift 375 athletes, staff, and other Americans out of Russia.
How quickly can you mobilize all of your aircraft and your personnel if something were to happen at the Olympics?
We mobilize and begin work immediately.
Inside the planes, a flying ICU with state-of-the-art medical equipment.
This has got all of the equipment that you would need in order to sustain life.
This is the high-tech command center in Boston, where the rescue effort would be coordinated. And who better to lead the effort than ex-Navy SEALs?
A number of our personnel are military veterans. They have been deployed to combat zones, Iraq, Afghanistan, other parts of Africa and the Middle East.
Concerns over the safety of our athletes are at a fever pitch, coming on the heels of suicide bombings and terror threats.
Authorities are looking for 3 alleged female suicide bombers.
I would not go. And I don't think I would send my family.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has committed 63,000 police and anti-terror personnel and promises the Olympics will go off without a hitch. Americans aren't so sure.
Any spectators that are attending the games should go in with their eyes wide open and understand that the possibility certainly exists that something is going to happen.
Great package.
Wow.
Great package.
What a crock.
This is Team America. America. Fuck yeah. Here to save the motherfucking day, yeah.
The B-roll. When they talk about the SEALs, they show a chopper with a bunch of SEALs coming down ropes.
Rappelling down the ropes, yeah. Wow.
And it's like, where are these planes supposed to land in Sochi to pick up? Are they going to land in the stadium?
No, they've got the tilt rotor. You know, they're going to fly in the Osprey. We're going to save him. Come on, man. This is promotion.
It's just annoying.
I got the fever, though. I'm good for it.
You say that.
I do. I have the fever. I'm ready to watch.
Watch what?
The Sochi Olympics. I'm excited.
What? What is it? I've always thought Winter Olympics were boring. You got this.
No.
Skiers, I like those guys.
No, we got the ski jumping. We got the bobsled. We got figure skating. I love me some figure skating.
Well, you know, it's always somebody crying. You know, it's just sad. It's a sad sport.
'Cause I'm a hero, flexible man. Yeah, somebody give me an appletini.
If you got the Appletini thing, I got to do one thing here. I know that you don't like this. I'm trying to make it a positive
no.
segment.
I don't have a jingle for it, but let me guess. Is it Guess That Movie time again?
Yes.
All right. Do I play the clip?
Yeah, but for the thing, you got to. There's lots of clues in this one. You should be able to get it.
Well done, Dr. Mafune. Let's celebrate. Cheers. The Titanosaurus controller is ready. As financier of this vast undertaking, I must say I'm extremely happy. Good. I'm indebted to you for believing my theory. I cannot thank you enough. Cheers, Doctor. Thank you.
Father, a man from Interpol came.
What's that? Interpol?
They asked to see you. They wanted to know about dinosaurs.
They've arrived 15 years too late to ask me about that. I told them then I'd make them sorry. Now my theory has proved to be correct. I'll take revenge on them all, on those fools who thought I was crazy and forced me to resign.
Okay.
No-brainer. It's either Octopussy.
Octopussy.
Or it's not Octopussy. That was my first.
See, this is the. Now, see, you're not taking this segment seriously.
I don't know this movie, so I'm just trying to go by what I heard. I thought I heard someone say Bond in there, so that's why I thought maybe it was a James Bond movie. I thought it was Godzilla.
Well, no, it's a Godzilla movie called The Terror of Mecha Godzilla. The guy has made a mechanical Godzilla to prove everybody else wrong, and it starts to wreck the city, and then Godzilla itself comes up and saves the day as usual.
Infringes substantially on personal privacy. The president tried to address this last Friday and said that in a short period of time he wants recommendations. But I think at this point we should seriously consider not continuing
Congresswoman
Section 215.
Let me interrupt you. Congresswoman, let me interrupt you just for a moment. We've got some breaking news out of Miami. Stand by, if you will. Right now in Miami, Justin Bieber has been arrested on a number of charges. The judge is reading the charges.
Yeah, that's what the mainstream is doing for you, ladies and gentlemen. They're breaking news. Justin Bieber, and meanwhile, we've been reading the
government documents.
Yeah, the privacy and civil liberties.
Screw you, the public.
That's right. Of course, we also threw in some segment about guessing a movie.
I'm telling you, this is going to be big. You got to trust me on this.
I'm trusting you. I'm going with the flow, but maybe do something from this century so I can guess what it is. Do you have some sensitive movies?
Oh, you want some girl on girls?
No, I like sensitive movies. Love movies.
I'm going to go out of my way to find a sensitive
love
movie.
story. I know the love stories.
Uh-huh.
All right, everybody. Yes, we will be talking about the Chiners on Thursday and whatever else comes our way. We keep our eye open for more possible examples of a 6-week cycle. Until then, Dvorak.org/NA. Your newsletter will contain our white paper coming to you from FEMA Region 6 in Austin, Texas in the morning, everybody. My name is Adam Curry.
And from FEMA Region 9, also Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda.
The best podcast in the universe. Chemtrails. Dvorak.org/NA